everyone, welcome back to the Direct-to-Video Connoisseur podcast. As always, this is Matt here. And this week, I am joined by Ty from Comeuppance Reviews. Welcome back, Ty.
Hey, it's me, Ty. No Brett this time. Shout out, though. It's like,
Yeah, this is a unique one because
yeah.
I'd done a solo Bruce Willis episode, and Ty listened to it and thought, hey, it'd be kind of fun to do the same thing. But I think there was a mindset of like Brett probably wouldn't be as interested in
And he wasn't.
exactly. So we're gonna do it. It's gonna be a little bit of a unique format from what we usually do, where we usually do like the 5 movies a piece of a person. We're just doing it kind of similar to that Willis one. We're gonna look at 2 Willis films that are on streaming and just kind of discuss them.
Sounds fun to me. A double Hulu, American Siege and A Day to Die.
Yes. Yeah. You could have your own Hulu Willis Film Fest with the number of Willis on Hulu.
That's a great point. And I had another point I was going to mention to you before we started recording was this could be a whole new kind of podcast. Well, an offshoot. Like all the Willis movies that he's made. I know we've seen some of them already here and there.
Yeah.
But if you just run them all down, from setup to now, it's like that's where it started. Yeah.
And it's interesting too, because one of the things I didn't realize when I did the episode before, I didn't really dig as far in the past on his filmography as I probably should have. But this whole like 8 or 9 movies a year is a relatively new thing, like the past couple of years.
Yes.
He was only doing a couple of these kinds of movies.
Because I read that he had like a 10-year plus contract with Emmett Furla Films.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, now I see. Because if you go back to Setup in 2011 or 2012, I guess, then he does Fire of Fire, and then he does like Precious Cargo and Marauders.
Yeah, and it was easier, I think, for people to keep up. And it's funny, I did notice because Todd Gaines from Bulletproof, he's kind of the unofficial, or maybe even official at this point, Bruce Willis film chronicler. He's like,
great job. He's on the Willis beat.
Exactly. And he has managed, it looks like he's managed to keep up with them all, which is just crazy because, I think he had 8 in 2021 and he's got 9 so far in 2022.
The year's almost over, but maybe you can get to 10 or 11.
He's got ones that are on the shelf that could be. There's this one he did a trilogy of movies called Inspector Night, which I don't know if those are Emmett and Furla, but they're all filmed, so it's just a matter of when they release them.
I saw that, and there's Wire Room with upcoming person in our list here, Kevin Dillon.
Yes.
And he'll be getting a nice ribbing shortly. So then,
good old Johnny Drama.
Johnny Drama. Oh yeah, Johnny Drama indeed.
Yeah.
So it's like
yeah, it's funny too because I think when I was doing the podcast, the solo one, I was thinking about how like Willis was like such a huge star, in the 80s, especially like the 90s and the 2000s, where it was like, your TNT new classics. Like if they were doing like 3 movies, at least one of them had to have Willis, and it is interesting. When we think of all the people who have dropped down to direct-to-video movies, the Willis one might be the most fascinating.
Because you didn't expect it, really, because he was still making, theatrical-related movies, So Moonrise Kingdom, something like that. Then he sneaks in a Fire of Fire. Like, what? Fire of Fire? Catch 44? It's like,
Yeah.
So it's like...
And it's like they're all, like, as we were joking about before, they're all just him, generally in a sport coat, with bald, of course, with a badge.
Yep.
That's the character pretty much in every movie.
I didn't really remember his character names.
Exactly, right, because it's like they're all the same person. It's like he's either like if he's not wearing the badge, then he's like either a crime boss or like some kind of evil like rich man or something.
Yeah, but that's a good point. Yeah, because I saw White Elephant. I was only on AMC Plus. My friend has like, wait, you have AMC Plus? All right, so I'll watch White Elephant. So it's like, and it was a classic Bruce Willis type of movie, but Rooker carried most of it.
Yeah. There's another one he did with Rooker that's on Tubi. Was it Corrective Measures?
Oh yeah, correct. I haven't seen that. I think Bruce plays a guy who's in prison or something. Might have special powers. That's all I know.
Yeah.
It's like
a long one. I think it's like close to 2 hours.
Oh my goodness! All right.
I think so.
I mean, The Day to Die is now on 45. That was a tough set. Doing it over like 5 days.
It's the same as a Day to Die, 146. So maybe
146. All right.
Right. It's a Tubi original, which the idea of that is just fantastic.
That's amazing. Now he's in their own original movies, and you got to start with some Willis because usually he drops by on Tubi.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Tubi's another one with him where you could do your own. I think Hulu might be more than Tubi, but it's still a lot in Hulu for sure.
I was surprised how many things are on Hulu of all these goofy movies we're watching. It's like they're all on Hulu. Okay.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and it's funny because you mentioned about the AMC Plus. I think the deal with AMC Plus is that you get Shudder included with that, and I think that's why a lot of people have AMC Plus.
Yeah. My friend doesn't watch Shudder,
Oh,
but
okay.
just
Oh, so they just
just
have AMC Plus.
does AMC Plus have AMC Plus? I don't know why they just buy all the channels. It's like
Oh,
what?
okay.
Okay. So it's like, well, that's good. I can watch White Elephant, or maybe that other one has Dolph Lundgren. It's called like Section 8.
Section 8 is on there too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like I haven't watched it yet because I didn't have the time, but
Yeah.
it could be a good one. Was it? It's Scott Adkins also. So
I think it is.
yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, because I actually have Grillo up on my thing.
Fire up the Grillo.
Fire up the Grillo. He just
Yeah.
did one with Dolph called Operation Seawolf. So
Yeah,
it's
I
like
want to see that. Could
yeah,
be
it's like
submarine slug.
right.
But
Yeah, yeah. You wonder like how these are, because like neither of them are top 3 build on there. So it's like, how does that, how do you get there?
maybe Dolph's like working in like the dark room over in the
Right,
in the
exactly.
submarine. Like he's working in the mechanics. Like, I'm working on the mechanics. I'm in the sub though. Oh, I drop by here and there. So it's like, that's my guess. I think the cover makes him look like he's like a sea captain, but I bet he's
Yeah.
just working in the mechanics.
Yeah, like
It's
an
like,
old sea captain too. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, I'm the admiral. I mean, he could, I never thought of it, but with his height, he could, when he gets to be a little bit older. He's already in his 60s, but when he gets into his 70s, he could definitely fill that Chuck Connors role.
oh, that's a good point.
On
Yeah.
the conspiracy bench with his admiral's outfit on, talking to guys like Williamson.
Yeah. Williamson's still young though, but not so
Yeah, the idea is like Williamson will be 100 and he'll still look like he's 55. And
I know he looks amazing for his age. It's
yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Can you imagine that Williamson at like 100, just like still making these movies where he's just like, yeah, talking instead of like, yeah, obviously Chuck Connors is no longer with us, so it's now
right.
Dolph Lundgren that he has to talk to, and yeah, it's like
Yeah, these
Dolph Lundgren's
conspiracy
character's
benches.
older, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know, coming soon to a no subject near you.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. We'll definitely be getting in on some conspiracy bench.
That's a great idea. I'm surprised that hasn't been made yet.
No, and the thing too now as we kind of get into these Willis films, the idea of having an entire film shot in a park, I guess, Columbus Day, right, with Val Kilmer.
Oh, Val Kilmer. Yeah, it's mostly a park movie. Yeah.
Right. Because that's what you would do with conspiracy benches. It would just be shot in the park, which, for the guys who make these movies, like Emmett and Furla or whoever, like the idea of just being like, okay, and I'm sure like in Georgia or Mississippi, they'd be like, sure, take our park for as long as you need it. We don't need to let people in here, and make your movie, blow everything up. We're fine with that. And like that's like the perfect idea for a movie. And for Willis, like just to have him sitting on the bench the whole time would be fantastic.
It's perfect. I'm surprised he hasn't done. I'm surprised he hasn't done like Zoom or FaceTime calls, Skype calls. Like he actually, they bring him over the set. It's like, wow. I think William Baldwin or Billy Baldwin did that in that stupid Maximum Impact movie with Tom Arnold and what's his name, Nevsky. So it's like he was just like looking into a screen and going, oh,
Can you imagine Willis like in the background he has like the kid, like how like all the like political shows and things like that whenever like whatever, it's like they have all the stuff in the background, so it's like you look at maybe like some of his old movie posters from like Pulp Fiction or something.
I can totally see it. He has like a Mr. Coffee machine. It's all blurry. I'm really surprised he hasn't done that. Really surprised. So he can still make it work a little bit. Just feed the lines in that he does anyway.
Yeah, I think whoever makes these movies, and I know like they're kind of at the point where they're not. I think he's maybe done shooting things, but I think even that like you think about like with Zoom, right? I mean, we were joking about what was it? Why can't I think of his name? I'm like drawing such a blank on the Hugh Grant.
Yeah, he's the original go-to meeting from
exactly.
So it's just like the Bruce Willis where like he would say like a line, it would be kind of cut off by the Zoom call, but then hey, he's there. He's on Zoom.
And just have somebody else ADR it, and
perfect.
so you got all the lines in there, perfect. So it's just like him, like a site, like kind of like the cutting, in and out kind of thing.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. What people, they need to make these movies. Yeah, for sure.
It's not too late. I think maybe he'll make a return, but maybe you can mention that towards the end of the show.
Yeah,
So it's like,
yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah. Well, why don't we get in on these movies here? So, like you said, these are both Hulu films. So I was debating which one to go with first, and my previous one, I did it by in descending order by title length. But I almost feel like American Siege might be a better one to go first because
sure,
it's
absolutely.
less crazy. There's less like, and I don't say less crazy. I guess I don't know what
Or
the right term
normal
is
in a
for it.
way.
Yeah, because
It's almost normal, almost.
right, right, almost exactly. Yeah, and so one thing too is I did look up what Todd Gaines thought of these two movies, and actually, American Siege hurt his sensibilities because, of course, he's from Georgia, and this film takes place there. And we've heard Todd talk, so we know
Yeah,
what his Southern accent sounds like, and
yeah.
he was not a fan of the Southern accents in this.
Oh,
He thought they
okay.
were
So
way over the top, which I mean, I guess for me, someone who grew up near Boston, I guess for both of us, kind of near that area, like when you see or New York, right? When you see characters playing New Yorkers or Bostonians, and they really like do the accent up, John Hamm it up, I guess, like think of him in the
John
town,
Hamm.
right? um, yeah,
Well, the
maybe it's the
worst, of
same
course, is
idea.
Costner. In 13 Days. Talk
Yeah,
about nuclear war here, which is not in the movie. It's just like that's just not even that scene's not even in it, but it's
right,
perfect for the trailer. So
exactly.
it's like, so-
Yeah, yeah. Him. What was he? Was he playing Robert Kennedy? Is that what?
no, he wasn't even playing any Kennedy. He was just
Was it
playing
like
like
just
the
a
assistant to the Kennedy or something.
right?
It's like, yeah, that
Yeah,
movie's perfect for the library, and then you fall asleep anyway after you rent it from the library. So
right,
it's like
right, exactly.
it's like a school movie. 13 Days, kind of like it almost keeps your attention, but you're still gonna fall asleep.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah, like so that like in school when it would be like close to the Christmas break time and they would try to want to have movies because the teachers just didn't want to do something for that week or whatever, and
oh
we would
yeah,
have to sit on the floor and like what and they'd wheel the cart in.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Here comes the TV. Yeah.
right, exactly. Yeah,
I think my dream was to watch Seagal movies while we're doing that because we got DVD. That was
yeah.
right towards the beginning.
The
It's like,
one
oh,
I remember,
DVD.
so this actually happened. We had a substitute teacher in our physics class, my senior year of high school, and I think somebody had brought in a copy of Predator. I think it was like one of those things where somebody was borrowing it from somebody, so they were giving it back or something like that. So we had it there in school, this copy of Predator, and we essentially forced the sub to make us watch Predator to let
That's
us watch
amazing.
yeah,
That's a great story. I wish we had that.
yeah, that was the best, and I mean I don't even remember like I remember like she was losing it like when there's that scene where like the guy's head is just completely blown across
Yeah.
the rocks, and we're like, wasn't that amazing? She's like, no, that was horrible. It's just like this
But
little
see, at
moment.
least she still watched the movie. You didn't
Yes,
turn it off.
yeah,
So
yeah. I remember when it was the "You're one ugly motherfucker" line. Like we all
yeah.
just like cheered. Like we are like, yeah,
Yeah, because you're what? How old were you when you watched this? When in
right.
school?
So this would have been
Uh,
senior, somewhere like 17 or 18.
See, that's perfect. That's
Yeah,
perfect. And
yeah,
it's like because you feel like you're sneaking in something bad.
right,
It's like
exactly.
yeah, because that's when I was in camp. We had like a bus to wherever our field trip is. They played The Peacemaker, the George
Oh,
Clooney movie.
yes.
It's like, wait, we're watching a rated R movie. We're like 14, 15 years old. Like, okay, here we go. It's like,
That's awesome.
he's like, oh, it's like we're doing something. We're doing something bad. It's just like,
Right. Imagine if it
I
had
like
been
The
the Peacekeeper.
Peacemaker.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
imagine
I
if it
wish
had
it
been
was
the golf one.
Peacekeeper.
Yeah,
That would be
or
amazing.
Peacekeeper. That's right. Peacekeeper is the golf
Peacekeeper's
one.
Dolph.
Right.
Peacemaker's George Clooney's.
That's right.
So it's
Yeah.
like, or the Clunes, right? So
The
it's like,
clues.
yeah. Yeah, Clooney doesn't do many action movies anymore. Now he has a beard, so he's not gonna do
Yes.
anything anymore. Maybe
Yeah,
he could be on a conspiracy bench. It's just
yeah, I
like
think he's doing a romantic movie with Julia Roberts that's in the theaters now.
perfect movie for 1998.
I
It's just
know.
like it's perfect, but it's 2022, so it doesn't really work. I'm
Right,
sorry.
right. Exactly.
So it's just like
I
we
know.
should.
They're trying to remake the TNT new classics, and it's like,
Yeah.
TNT doesn't show that kind of stuff anymore. They do
No.
marathons of what was that? Snowpiercer? Is that the show or Claws or
Oh,
something?
yeah.
Yeah.
Claws. Yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot about claws.
Right.
It's like,
Exactly. That's what they show now. They don't show
yeah.
new classics anymore. There's no Armageddon on a Saturday or
Well,
you know.
yeah. Sometimes they sneak in Con Air.
Yeah.
That's about it. I guess we should probably talk about American Siege.
Yeah, let's
It's like,
jump in on
yeah,
American Siege. I know, yeah,
yeah,
it's easy to get off track there.
yeah.
So
Well, it's
the
easy to
thing
get off track.
I'm gonna see if I can get the plot right on this one,
Okay,
and if I miss anything, of course, let me know. But
sure.
I think the idea is that so you've got this guy who's getting out of jail, and he and the sister of his girlfriend who's gone missing. The girlfriend's gone missing. The sister and brother, they lay siege to this house that has a poor man's Morgan Freeman in it.
Yes, that's in my notes. Yes.
Poor man's Morgan Freeman,
Yeah.
and a room that's blocked by like a safe, kind of like a big like vault door. And so they take Morgan Freeman, the poor man's Morgan Freeman, hostage.
Yeah, his name is Keats. I remember that.
Keats,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And so they've got him hostage, and then they want answers about the sister, so they trip the alarm. So now Willis is the small town sheriff in this town, and he is essentially owned. The entire town is owned by. We have is it a poor man's? I would say Robert Nepper, right?
Oh yeah, poor man's Robert Nepper. Timothy V. Murphy sounds like a court case, but that's his name. Right. So it's just like, yeah. So
and I've always thought that Robert Nepper was a poor man's Murdoch from MacGyver. So the fact that we're even going that level here is
that's a new high, maybe. I won't say a new low, but the new high. We have fake Neppers now.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Now his son is played by hockey star Wayne Gretzky's son. He's a poor man's Haley Joel Osment.
Yes, he is. So
right, exactly.
And then Bruce Willis's wife is like a poor woman's Melanie Griffith.
Right, so who's played by Wayne Gretzky's wife. Yeah. So it's interesting that he's married to a poor man's Melanie Griffith, and his son is a poor man's Haley Joel Osment. So
and then regular Melanie, wasn't she married to Don Johnson, who and Bruce Willis was on Miami Vice? So it all connects back somehow.
Yes, he was a fantastic Miami Vice. And then, even then, we've got Johnny Mesner, who, with his glasses on, looks like a poor man's John Hamm, which I don't even know what that's about.
He was almost unrecognizable, and they're like, "Oh, I know his voice." It's like,
yeah, exactly. So what happens is with the siege, the poor man's Robert Nepper, who owns the town. He sends Willis and his son in to take care of these three to kind of end things so that the siege thing's over. We get a sense that there's something to do with drugs being sold in the town, and that's what's funding everything.
Right, it's like this fentanyl. Yeah, that's the hot drugs of the day. So it's like,
yeah, exactly. It's got to be something like that. And then, and then when it doesn't work out, when Willis is not doing a good job of cleaning up the mess, Mesner is the head of some local militia group who does the dirty work for the poor man's Robert Nepper. And so the first time we see Mesner, he's got glasses on. I mean, he literally looks like John Hamm with his gray hair and his glasses. I don't know.
I was very surprised. I didn't, like I said, I didn't recognize him. Right. Like, wait, Mesner, there he is. Right. I was so mesmerized by fake Nepper. It's like, wait, is that Robert Nepper?
Exactly.
Oh, no. It's Timothy V. Murphy, who has an amazing career. I was looking that up on IMDb.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I think that's the thing, is he probably does a lot of stuff that isn't poor man's Neppery. But in this film, they set him up as a poor man's Nepper.
100%.
Yeah, he's older. He's a little older than Nepper, and sort of the character is. But it's essentially everything you expect from a Nepper in a movie like this.
Exactly. And he has the Nepper hair. He has the Nepper face. That's amazing. I like to see him and Nepper, Timothy V. Murphy and Nepper in a movie. He'd be twin brothers.
Could you do it? Could it be the two baddies, both equal?
That'd be great.
Baddies? Yeah, and then Willis kind of just sitting off in a chair somewhere, and
which he does in the beginning. He's sitting on a rocking chair, oh wow. I thought he was going to be doing nothing in this movie, and then he actually got up.
I mean, he's asleep. That's how. I mean, they open the movie with him sleeping, and
that's amazing.
And the other thing too, of course, with Willis is we have to figure out how they're going to get him out of the movie, right? Because he needs to be out of the movie for long spells. And so they get him out by firing him. The poor man's Nepper fires him.
Yeah,
so
he's
just walking down this old.
Yeah, he's walking down this road sad, like the Hulk, whatever, and
it's and so the movie, I would say, this is not an action movie. It's probably more a slow burn kind of thing.
Right, and what's funny about American Siege is that, Bruce Willis was in a movie called The Siege. It's they're like, oh, right. And he was good in that movie. Denzel Washington. Okay, all right. It's just it's my Denzel Washington impression. But it's because if you remember that movie, if you've seen it, it just, Bruce Willis plays an evil general. It's he's talking, and then Denzel tries to stop him or whatever, but it's they've already won. And Bruce Willis is really good in it. You gotta watch the trailer. Makes him look extra evil because he's like he comes out of the shadows. You gotta watch the trailer of the siege, but it's like, okay, you're evil. It's like, but it's like, oh wait, this is American Siege. So like,
right. You know what? I have not seen this one. I remember it being
oh, you
out.
never seen the Siege? Oh, okay. It actually is a pretty solid movie. It's
It
very
looks
interesting to
very
watch now.
familiar. It looks very.
Yeah.
I think and again, like what we were talking about. I mean, this was a movie that was in the theater.
Oh yeah.
But it's
So
got Tony Shalhoub.
yeah,
Yeah. Um,
it's
yeah. I
definitely
don't.
worth a watch if people haven't seen it. And it's interesting to watch now for all
Yeah.
these news articles of the day. We'll say.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
No,
like,
good point. I mean, we got a nice
yeah.
shot of the Brooklyn Bridge here with a bunch of guys in
Oh yeah.
army fatigues.
Because what happens is, well, it's not a spoiler. It's just that New York City goes under martial law,
Yeah.
and then Bruce Willis is a part of that. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah, it definitely looks like. I mean, that's the thing with Willis. He did so much. It's amazing, like how many kind of roles that he did, how many movies, and and now we see him in this stuff here. Like,
I know it's just sad in a way. It's
yeah,
just like,
but you bring up oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say you bring up a good point because this is a similar tactic that people who make Seagal movies use, right? Where they take films from previous, famous or popular Seagal movies, and they just kind of mess with the titles a little bit, so it's something similar to that.
Well, look at Out for a Kill, and then of course Bruce Willis has Hard Kill.
Right.
So it's like, wait a second, that sounds familiar to Die Hard.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I think we made that joke before in one of the Bruce Willis no subject ideas. It's like,
Yeah, right. Yeah. How many of those those names we could do? So
yeah,
that's a great point. Oh, go ahead.
Six Element. It's like,
right, exactly. The Six Monkeys. Like we could do.
Yeah. Color of Monkeys. It was like, so it's like, I like to see Color of Monkeys. That'd be great. Just he plays his character again from Color of Night. Maybe his best work, or not, which it is not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can see that now. It's like, yeah. Color of Vengeance probably be the best one.
Color of Vengeance, yes, that would be a perfect one. Yeah, and, I mean that's the thing too. I guess is this idea that we don't know if he's gonna keep making movies. Or I mean, it's you. There's almost like with this movie here, it's hard to know like where he sort of is struggling a bit, just because
yeah, you can tell a little bit because I know on your last podcast about Willis, he's like, well, is he with it or not with it?
Yeah.
And like when Fake Nepper is yelling at him, he's like almost with it, and he's just like he doesn't really react. And it was like, so he must have said that earlier because let me guess, Bruce Willis didn't do his reverse shots.
Right, exactly.
But it's just like, so he's saying it, but then he's not really reacting very well. It's like, stop yelling at me. That's what he says, right? Exactly. To the Fake Nepper, and it's like, okay, and then
yeah. The other thing I noticed, I don't know if you caught this, and maybe it was just me looking for something, but it seemed like whenever it was a shot of Willis, the camera was moving around more.
Yes, that's a great point, and they definitely do that in Day or Die. Yeah. So it's like they can't keep him still, or just like, I don't know. But overall the movie was not really that bad.
No.
Because fake Haley Joel Osment, yeah, he could be. That's it. You get Bruce Willis and Haley Joel Osment, and you got a Sixth Sense, the Seventh Sense. That's what people would call it. It's like, and it would be a big Bruce Willis face on the left and big Haley Joel Osment face on the right. It's like, or mixed up. It would be Haley Joel Osment and Bruce Willis, and it would be called the Seventh Sense. And it would make no sense, I guess we have to say.
Right. Well, it could almost be like that Seagal one, Beyond the Law, that also has, of course, there's Mesner, but
there's Mesner and DMX.
DMX, and they were trying to go off of they're trying to play off the Seagal DMX thing to make it seem like it was like they're bringing these two back again. It was like
exit wound is back.
Right. Exactly. And it was like,
I don't think so.
Yeah. No. Turns out not so much. But
I think they're in the same scene together.
No,
I couldn't really see it too well. It was very dark looking.
Yeah, I don't think they did a scene together. The only good DMX scene is the one. I don't remember the scene where he's at the bar and he's asking for Hennessy and he wants the bottle, and the guy pours him a glass. He's like, no, give me the bottle, and the guy goes to pour him another shot. He's like, no, the bottle, give me the bottle. And it was like the guy's like, oh, okay, here you go, here's the bottle. It's like that was like the best DMX in that movie for me, I guess.
I mean, I know now he's gone, which is sad, but he's in that weird like snake movie, right? It's called like Lockjaw.
Yeah,
you ever see that?
No.
It's like, well, me either, but it always looks kind of silly. It looks like a sci-fi movie. It's like DMX, huh? So DMX versus a snake. Sure.
Right. Well, he also did a Tubi original. I don't remember what it was called, but
Oh, he
maybe
did?
that was the one that was 2 hours long. That might have been the one that was.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, he's in some like fake death race movie called like Death Racers or something like that.
Yes, I reviewed that one. That was an asylum
Yeah.
flick that was a bite off of Fast and the Furious
Yeah.
movies.
I love that they make fake Fast and the Furious movies, which are technically fake Point Break movies. But then you got DMX for like, what is he just sitting in the car, like driving or no? I didn't see it. Death Racers.
Exactly.
Is that what he does?
Yeah, he doesn't
No.
even drive. No, he's
He
like
doesn't
a
even
crime
drive?
boss. He's a
Oh,
crime boss, and he makes this guy who I would say this guy in the movie is like a cross between a poor man's Mesner and a poor man's Louis Mandalore. That's what they get for like the
you
hero.
couldn't get one of those two people. I know DMX is probably a little expensive, but it's
Right.
just like
Yeah, I think that's what it was like they just they got yeah, it was dead DMX, and that was, I mean, I think he's the only one in the movie. When I saw it, it was yeah,
it's
it because it's an asylum film, and I was like, oh, I reviewed it for when I put Asylum in the because I had to put Asylum in the Hall of Fame because they had like I had over 30 movies in there, so I was like, all right, I got
that's amazing.
yeah,
All these aliens versus predators or what. I think it has.
exactly.
Is it Christopher Atkins? I think he might be in that, or one of those people, right? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, and this one's written by a Mark
William
Atkins.
Cat.
William Cat. Oh yes, and the
Yeah,
Alien versus Predator. Yeah,
the
that was
Alien versus Predator. Yeah,
yeah, or what? Yeah, or versus. How did they mess with that
it's like
title? It was
Alien like versus Alien or something like that,
right.
right?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah, Alien versus Hunter. It was
yeah, that was Alien versus Hunter. Thank you.
right,
Yeah, and they got William Cat. It's not a bad get. He is the greatest American hero and the White Ghost.
right,
So it's like,
exactly. And White Ghost was an interesting one, wasn't it?
wasn't that? Yeah,
With
wasn't that great?
just enough Reb Brown screaming at the end to make it, yeah, to make it work enough. I think.
With William Cat's kind of wacky perm hairdo, and he's like spaghetti hair, whatever he
Right.
has there.
He's been living in the Vietnam bush for decades, and he's still able to get his hair curled properly.
Yeah, maybe he has a special barber there. It's
Right.
like, maybe
Exactly.
Reb does it.
Reb goes in every once in a while. Yeah, Reb screams for him, hey, White Ghost, I got new hair. And,
Yeah, White Ghost.
yeah,
Yeah, that's his name. I forget his name in the movie, but it's like that's his name, White Ghost.
White Ghost. Yeah, he's just White Ghost. But yeah, I mean, with with this movie, the thing that I like about it, and then the movie almost like, and I should probably warn people well in advance that we're going to be doing spoilers when we talk about
Oh,
this
that's right.
movie.
Yeah, we didn't say.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Bruce Willis got fired, but maybe he's still around the
right.
movie.
Yeah, but like the big reveal, right, is what's behind the vault door. So if you don't want to know what's behind the vault door, if you want to see this, so we're giving you some time right now to
There we
to
go. Yeah.
stop the podcast, go watch the movie. It's an hour and a half if you really want to see it, but we're going to get into what's behind the vault door. Yeah.
And what is? Yep. Oh, wait. Another moment.
Yeah. All right. You've been warned. Okay. We're going into it. The vault door essentially leads to a huge warehouse that's like
Yeah.
not even underground. It's supposed to be underground, I think, but it just
Doesn't
looks
look
like it's like a warehouse somewhere else, but it's supposed to be underground underneath this small little tiny cottage thing where all the action is happening.
It's an amazing idea, but it's done very goofily because it's like what? It's like
Right. It was like another Reb Brown movie, Space Mutiny, where it's like the entire bottom of the ship, this entire like factory that was
yeah.
the basement of the ship or something like that.
Like it looks like if they drove to the abandoned factory, I would understand. But this is right in this house because it's an American siege, so you have to stay there.
Right.
So it's like,
Yeah, it was amazing just the idea of it. That's like, oh, if I just go down, and then like the brother, who's kind of like this goofy redneck character, who he goes down and investigates and then comes back up and he's like, oh, there's just a bunch of drugs down there and stuff, and there's like some naked guy with long hair and an
yeah, that
apron.
was weird. It's like,
Yeah,
what
he's
is
just dancing around, packing
It's
it.
like,
Yeah,
it's like, okay, don't turn around too much. I mean, it's
yeah.
just like, it's like,
Yeah.
why are you naked, sir?
Right. And I was really kind of anticipating it. It was like they did a good job of the build up to like what's behind the door. Is it going to
Yep.
be? And I thought, and the other thing too is like they're interspersing pictures of the missing girl like chained to a post, but then I guess that's not really her, or like she
Yeah, that
was from the
wasn't done
past and
exactly
she had
well.
died. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was really confusing and it made no sense. And so it was like the big reveal was just kind of, I don't know, like it was it was like this kind of a movie's big reveal, I guess.
That's all they had, but they did a pretty good job for what they had.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think the thing with this movie is then, so then we kind of get into the point where it's like, okay, I guess the big time crunch is that the FBI could be coming, and if the FBI comes, they'll uncover all of the drugs and stuff, and the whole thing's off. So they need to like clean everything up before the FBI shows up, and so then there's like a big shootout with Mesner's
yep,
men and the kids, or the three people inside the house, and that's when Bruce Willis returns, right?
he
He
returns like
suddenly
yeah, he comes out of nowhere. I thought he was walking along the street for a while, but I must have heard some gunshots and
yeah,
oh wait, I need to come back for a
I need to
second.
be back in the movie, right?
It's
And
like
and he's like picking these guys off like almost like assassination style. Like he's just like going up behind them and shooting them in the
yeah,
head.
that was kind of cool. I mean, that was done. I think it was done the best it can be. So it's like
Yeah,
if it's just if Bruce Willis really, I know if he cared a little more, I think we would have had even a super recommended movie here because you
yeah,
got the fake Nepper, but then you have all these silly Gretzky kids,
right,
and it's like which is great by the way. It's great that Gretzky's children are making movies.
right, yes,
So it's like, but I overall did enjoy it. So I was very surprised. I thought this was going to be the dud.
right.
Like, oh no, he's sleeping on a chair. Like, oh no. And then, like, you know what? I got somewhat hooked into it because, so it's like,
Yeah, I was saying like out of the I guess out of the five, thinking of the three that I watched
oh
before
yeah,
this and then these two, this was the best one I think out of them.
that's amazing because I really thought this would be the bottom of the barrel and Vendetta would be the hit.
Right,
Like,
yeah, yeah, no, and I think part of it with this one maybe that did make it work a little bit better is that there's no like young male lead that's supposed to do the heavy lifting here. It was kind of more like it was kind of more that slow burn feel where you had all of these characters all playing parts and who's who and yes most of them were all poor man's versions of a
other
mainstream
people, yeah,
actor.
yeah, yeah, which is great.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah, and so maybe that's part of it is that there was nobody that we had to feel like we needed to root for, I think, which it does sometimes help with these that like, you know, there's no like maybe a cool person playing a baddie that we want to root for them and then they lose or a one note kind of hero that's like maybe some like former teen star that they've, made more grizzled with a beard who's like grimacing that we're supposed to root for
yeah,
them.
like Jesse Metcalf, right? It's
Exactly,
like,
right.
and coming soon, Jesse Bradford.
Right,
And it's like,
exactly, right. There's
no.
none of that in here that I think kind of helps with the mitigation.
I think we said this before. Unless we can just get right into that. I'm
Yeah.
surprised that Topher Grace is not in these movies yet.
Right.
It's like I'm really surprised.
Yeah,
So
because we were thinking about like who the people were that could be your next like, and
yeah,
again, we don't know how
exactly.
many, who the heavy lifting. We talked about the four Chris's, right?
Yes.
Chris Evans, Chris Pine, Chris Pratt, and Chris
Yeah.
Hemsworth. Which of those would be most likely to do it?
Pine's gonna drop because he already has a little bit of the contractor, which I haven't seen, but I saw clips like, this looks a little red boxy, but it's just like, but because they're younger, older people.
Yeah,
If that makes sense. So like Bruce Willis is
exactly.
old, but they're getting
Right.
up there too. So
Yeah.
it's like, but yet they don't do the heavy lifting somehow. So it's still Jesse Bradford, but he's old. Well, that's getting a little ridiculous, but
Yeah. Right.
but but Chris Pine's he's gonna drop first to straight to video.
Now
You know,
he did do one that I reviewed for the site back before he kind of became big.
oh, which one was that?
Let's see if I can find it in here. It was a movie. Oh, Carriers. Actually, it came out the same year as Star Trek, so I think it was like kind of
Oh,
like
it's
the
one of
last
those.
2009. It was kind of like his last thing before he blew up with the Star Trek movies.
Yeah, that
He it,
happens sometimes. Like we're sitting on a shelf or something, and they're like, oh,
exactly.
hey, look, he's a
Yeah.
big star now. Let's release Carriers.
Right,
It's like,
exactly. What was the was it Sabotage, right? With the Cascos film that had Carrie Ann Moss, and
yeah,
I think they said it came out after or it came out like it was kind of like right before she did The Matrix.
yeah, I love Sabotage.
Yep.
Only because I have a special place for it because it has that great tagline, "The
Yes.
dark heart of the Black Ops beats to a secret agenda." So
Yes.
when I read that tagline, this is very British, but I get very excited. It's like this is the best tagline I ever heard, and I
Yes.
need to watch this immediately. And I thought it delivered.
Yeah.
Some slow moments, but overall good.
Yeah. And I also Tony Todd as the baddie in
Yeah,
that one was just he did give us a master class on how to be a good
yeah,
baddie.
he's so good because it really helps. He has a great voice too. Because
Yes.
I just watched Tales from the Hood 3 about a week ago,
Oh, nice.
and he's like the story. Well, he's kind of like the storyteller, and it was pretty good actually because he helped a lot. It's like, and the stories weren't bad. I think you got to rush out 3 stories in 90 minutes to do the best
Yeah.
they can.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen those Tales from the Hood movies.
Not 3. I haven't seen that one. I
Did you
gotta
see
check that.
2?
I don't know if I saw. I think I saw the first one.
That's the first one with Wings Hauser and David Allen Greer and the gang.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's like,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
but they got most of the people who produce and directs it for the sequel, so it's a little bit better than you might think.
Yeah. Yeah, some of those movies. I mean, obviously, we're talking about this American Siege movie as one
Yeah.
that was surprising. Some of those movies, it's interesting when you watch them and you're like, hey, this actually is good, despite
Yeah.
like the difficulties. I mean, again, American Siege, like the big difficulty is the fact that you've got to mitigate all the Willis.
I know, and they did a pretty good job this time.
Yeah.
I was very impressed. They didn't do a great job in White Elephant, I thought.
Right. Yeah.
And then I know once it gets off AMC Plus, hopefully you can watch it. But it's like,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
guess that everything a lot exclusive. It's like now you have to watch White Elephant on this streaming platform. We don't want to get another one. It's like
Exactly. Well,
if
because
the,
the
go
other
ahead.
one, he has another movie that he did with Patrick Muldoon that's on
Oh,
Showtime.
yeah,
Which,
Deadlock.
yeah, and so we
Yeah.
actually have Showtime. It's like Showtime
Mhm.
combined with Paramount. But we got that because my wife wanted it. I wanted to too. The Bill Cosby documentary that was on there. It's like one of those deals where you do like the free
Right.
free month, and then you just forget to cancel
Yep,
it, and then it's
classic
like, oh, well,
bit.
yeah,
All right, I'll keep it.
right, exactly. So it's like, oh, sorry, $10 a month or whatever. Because it's not that much. And then with the Paramount Plus, they have all they have a bunch of different soccer games. That's the other thing too, is it seems like a lot of these they're
And it
pairing
has
them
Blue
with sports.
Bloods, your favorite show.
Blue Bloods, exactly. I saw what's his face? Selleck, he was selling reverse mortgages on
He's
the
still
Classic
selling
Siege.
it on Blue Bloods,
No,
like
not
during the
on Blue.
commercial.
No, just on the well, actually,
Well,
that's a good question. Is what channels Blue Bloods reruns are on? You very well could be.
because I think Blue Bloods might be on Ion, maybe. I gotta check my
Yeah.
local listings
Yeah.
in Connecticut, but it's just maybe that I think we made fun of this last time, these reverse mortgages, right? But
Right,
it's like
yeah. I mean, just seeing him with his mustache, his voice is exactly the same, which is the best part, is that he still has the exact voice that he had in the 80s when he was doing Magnum. And it's like, here's Magnum PI, like selling these older people on how great it is to have a reverse mortgage.
I don't really know what that is, because I'll just like sounds like red tape to me. That's what I think. That's
I
what a
think what
reverse
it
mortgage
is
is. Yeah.
you're essentially selling your house to the bank while you're still living it. So when you die,
Hmm.
so like if you don't have any kids to give the house to or something like that, it's a
Oh,
way.
okay.
It's like they're
It's like a
paying you
will kind of thing.
yeah, it's like the bank pays you money for your house so that when you die they get it instead of. So I guess like, yeah, if you don't have any kids that either would want the house, or if you don't if you don't have any kids period, they don't need the house. I guess it makes sense, because it's like, what am I going to do with this thing, But I guess what I don't understand is, like, does the bank clear out all your stuff? Like, who gets you can still have family members that clear out your house and stuff, and so they're like going through going like, man, I would have liked to have had this. It's like, well, thanks a lot, mom and dad. I don't know.
So I guess if Tom Selleck had more of a sense of humor on those commercials, he could say, "Don't run away from this idea." So it's just like, so,
Yeah.
or something like that. Something about Blue Bloods or being Frank Reagan and stuff like that. Which
Right.
I watched the latest episode. I guess this is not a Blue Bloods podcast. He didn't do much. It could be. You want?
No, but I'm saying, like, we could do. It's funny because we've talked about doing like a syndicated TV show podcast, and we could do some interesting like TV shows, because there's so many of these kinds of shows that they kind of border on. I think one of the things with the TV shows, maybe you agree with me on this, is that a lot of the movies that we watch, they make perfect like 42-minute episodes of TV shows.
Yeah, that was a great point you made on your last Willis cast.
Yeah.
Is that no? Yeah, American Siege. Would this be a good episode? I mean, it's like, I guess he goes under cover in the fentanyl game. I guess it's something,
Yeah.
and he gets fake Nipper.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
mean,
like,
this one didn't feel like it had as much padding, I would say, as the other Willis ones. Like,
yeah, well, yeah.
but you're right. Like, it could be like Willis like shows up in this town, pretending to be like a bumbling sheriff who doesn't know what he's doing,
Yep.
and gets himself fired by the fake Nepper, and then it's it's almost like Kevin Spacey at the end of Usual Suspects, right?
Yes.
He's just like, like suddenly he's all with it and he can take care of business.
Because I was gonna, I was gonna mention that about A Day to Die, because well, we can get to that in a second. But
Yeah,
yeah, I would definitely recommend American Siege if people want to check this out for sure. It's
yeah,
like I was pleasantly surprised.
yeah.
It's like
I think the only thing about this one is that they don't really make it clear. I mean, I guess
yeah, yeah, there's some
the
plot
girl dies,
problems.
but they don't really make it clear exactly what happens to the girl. That is she alive? Is she dead? But beyond that, I agree with you. I think for if you're looking for a nice slow burner that's an hour and a half long, um, I think this does the trick. Now, again, not everybody's looking for that. People generally want action and stuff, and this
And
has
there's
some
some.
action.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does have some action towards the end, which was done decently well for what
yeah,
they had.
yeah.
And I do want to mention I did watch another Bruce Willis movie a few weeks ago, which was Gasoline Alley.
Oh yeah, I was wondering about that because that was the
Yeah,
one that Brett mentioned. He remembered the comic book that was, or the comic strip that was different from the movie.
no,
So
it's
I was,
different.
yeah,
Yeah, this is Dylan Sawa, who looks wow, he looks a lot older than you might expect. He's
right,
not like the goofball from like Final Destination or
right,
Idle Hands.
right,
It's
right.
just like he looks like 50, 60 years old. It's like he
Yeah,
has a beard. He's grimacing through his beard, as you mentioned.
yes,
It's like he does a good job, but the plot is a bit wonky because once again, as you mentioned, Bruce Willis plays like a corrupt guy,
yeah,
and it's like, oh, give me the money, Dylan. And it's like, no, and it's like it's like it's like okay, and then Luke Wilson's hanging around doing nothing. But I mean, like at least it's funny he's in there because he has that kind of funny kind of voice to listen to a little bit.
yeah,
It kind of it's kind of nasally. So it's
yeah,
like he's trying to be tough, but it doesn't really work. But it's still funny. And if you
yeah.
look at the go ahead.
No, well, I was
Yeah.
gonna say the thing that's weird about this one is that on IMDb it says it's not available on Hulu, but it actually is, right?
Yeah, well, I saw it on Hulu, I don't know, a couple months ago, but maybe it went away.
No, I think it's still there because I
Okay.
looked at it as one potentially for us to do for this, but
Yeah.
I think the two we picked, I think just
Yeah.
um I think comparing Gasoline Alley to the one we're going to talk about, I
Yeah.
think the number of people in that one compared to this one, it's just slightly more that it's like but this would definitely I think it would be a good one, and maybe if Brett wanted to because he talked about the comic strip, which I never heard of
I mean,
before.
I guess I would rewatch Gasoline Alley. I mean, I watched it, because I was just killing time. It's just
Yeah,
like,
right.
because I actually thought this might be a little bit better than the last Willis. It's like, well, Deadlock is kind of lazy. Well, you haven't seen that yet.
No, no.
Well, it's
You
him
were
and
mentioning about the
Muldoon.
you were mentioning about the cover on this one, right? Because this is the
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yep, this is our favorite cover for Bruce Willis. He's wearing the badge or some sort of like kind of cop outfit. Well, that's the thing about American Siege. Like his badge is taken away from Fake Nepper,
Right.
and then at the end, because we already spoiled most of the movie, but yeah, he put his badge back on. It's like, hey, I got it back now. I could be on the next cover. It's just like
Yeah, it's
so
very
it's like
symbolic. It's almost like
yeah,
I'm trying to think of like it's almost like a movie or something like that where it's like yeah, the main character loses their power or something, and or they something, and it's almost like I mean that could be a really funny thing too. Like it's like all these movies if it's just like he loses his badge and has to get it back somehow, right? He's always gonna figure that part out.
he almost did. He was like the Hulk. He's walking down with
Exactly.
the cars going by, and he wasn't really hitchhiking. He was hitchhiking, right? The Hulk.
Right,
But
exactly.
it's just like,
Yeah, that was a
it's like,
perfect analogy because it is
yeah,
like the kind of street that the
yeah,
Hulk would have been walking on, where there's no
yeah.
sidewalk, it's just there's
Yeah.
no
I just
median
cracked
line.
up.
It's yeah,
Da-na-na-na. It's like, yeah, I wish they played that. This movie had no humor really to it, except for looking at the lookalikes.
yes,
So it's
right,
just like,
right.
but I mean, the next movie, unless you want to keep talking about American
No,
Siege,
I
happy
think
to.
no, it's probably this
Yeah,
is probably a good segue to pop
yeah.
into because this next one I think has a good amount of humor to it.
I'm just gonna laugh the whole time because this movie, oh my goodness.
Yes,
Well, I mean, like A Day to Die is what
right.
is our next movie, right? So
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to get my notes up. So
and it's funny because you could
yeah,
almost put hard at the end and make this a Die Hard sequel
yeah,
title,
A Day
right?
to Die Hard, a good Day to Die Hard, which I watched a couple months ago and was not good. I mean, that might have been a good starter for Bruce Willis kind of losing it a little bit because
Yeah,
all of his lines are 80 yard. Well, that's the
yeah,
thing about it. Yeah, there's a bunch of 80 yard Bruce Willis in American Siege.
yeah.
And Dolph Lundgren posted a picture on Instagram that he's doing his ADR right now for Expendables 4.
Right.
So it's like Like, oh, I saw some pictures of Dolph the other day. He's on crutches. It's like he had some sort of like leg surgery. You kind of feel bad.
Yeah,
It's
because
like,
he hurt his hip or something
yeah.
in a film like years ago, like 3 or 4
Oh, I wonder
years
what movie
ago.
that was.
I don't remember because he mentioned it, I think, on the Atkins, Atkins's YouTube videos that he does,
Mhm.
as YouTube interviews. I think he mentioned what it was, and that's the thing is,
Oh,
yeah, I think that's what happens with these guys who are older is that they get those injuries and that's it. Like those injuries linger for, which I get it.
yeah,
I'm at my age, I'm 20 years younger than Dolph, and I get a cold, and it seems like it lasts forever.
yeah.
So,
I wonder what movie it was. Maybe it was like Hard Night Falling or something. Something that's like
yeah,
ridiculous. Or maybe it was Direct Contact. I don't know. We'll see.
yeah, I want to say it was one of the ones he direct, like maybe Icarus or something like that. Or, what was that? Dolph Lundgren is the Killing Machine.
Oh, yes, my favorite title. It's
Right,
Dolph
exactly.
Lundgren's The Killing Machine. That's the wrong title on the guide. I watch
Exactly.
TV Guide all the time. It's like, that's not me. I'm not the Killing Machine. I'm just a regular Dolph. So it's just like, so it's like, I just thought that was a glitch in the system. That's everywhere.
Yeah,
Dolph Lundgren is the Killing Machine. And it's like, nah, just on Comcast or something. No, it's on every TV guide you find that.
yeah, it's
So
fascinating because
yeah,
it's like because I think originally the movie was supposed to be called Icarus,
right.
and then they
It's
made it the
fancy
Killing
title.
Machine.
Yeah,
Right.
classic straight to video change title,
It's,
which works. Which is classic. Yeah, like I'm gonna call it the Killing Machine. It's
yeah,
like, that's easy to watch and look at.
right,
It's like
exactly. And then I guess they thought the Killing Machine wouldn't make us think it was a Dolph movie enough because maybe there's so many Killing Machines. I
uh,
don't know.
that's so weird. I just because if I have the DVD somewhere and it just says Dolph Lundgren and then it says the Killing Machine and then that's it.
Yeah.
So it's just like okay. I mean, you can change it if you want. I mean, I still gotta watch Section 8. I know we just talked
Yes, me
about
too.
previously, but
Yeah.
that might be good. I mean, it might be like a day to die, which we'll get to. Let me get my notes.
Yeah. Yeah, because
So
Section 8, because that one's also on AMC Plus, I think,
yeah, I know.
right?
Now AMC Plus is putting out these straight to videos kind of
Yeah.
movies. Well, there's some movie with Adrian Brody they're pushing called Clean,
Yes,
which I
I saw
haven't
that.
seen.
I saw an ad for that.
It's
Yeah,
like,
that could be interesting. And then I think
yeah,
the other one, the one he did with Grillo that I was going to mention, when we fire up
yeah,
to Grillo to talk about
yeah.
this movie,
We'll fire that up very shortly.
yeah,
Yeah,
he does that. Was it Operation Seawolf?
you're right. Yeah, I still
It's
want
a
to see
submarine
that.
one.
Is there a
Yeah,
street date for that? I really
it's
wasn't.
out. So it's out now,
Oh,
but
it's out
it's like
now.
$6
Okay.
to rent on Amazon.
Oh,
So it's sort of, yeah,
I
it's
do it for free.
exactly. It's that
Gotcha.
process that I think it was Tom Joliffe who talked about. It was like this process that they do when they release movies now, where it's like you pay money. It's like a high rental fee to start with, and then once it's been out for a while, they push it to like the free streamers like
Oh,
Tubi
okay.
and
I'll
those
can wait.
places.
I'll can wait. I'll definitely would watch that. There's some other Dolph movies. I know it's not a Dolph cast today, but it's like
Oh,
a bunch of
sorry.
ones that have come out lately. It's hard to catch them because what I don't want to pay, but I
Right.
still want to see them.
Yeah.
And then they're on like Tubi Plus,
Yeah.
and it's just like it's like that's gonna happen one day. I hope not. I hope no one gets any ideas.
I know
Tubi needs to be free.
that's the funny because John Cross was saying because he hates the commercials so much that he thinks they should have like an ad-free version, which to
See,
me,
that's risky.
yeah, it's hard because it can be a slippery slope with these things, right?
Yeah.
That like, the thing that makes Tubi so great is that everything is completely free. And yeah, I agree about the commercials, but I guess maybe too from my mindset is that like growing up, like we were just talking about, with, like the TNT new classics and all of that stuff. It's like watching movies on TV so much. Tubi's actually not so bad for commercials compared to those.
I mean, I had a bad experience with Tubi. Maybe it was just a bad stream, with that movie Red Prophecies
Oh
with
yes,
Eric Roberts, Michael Madsen, all of our favorites.
yeah,
Nevsky.
yeah,
I think Casper Van Dien and
yeah.
and Stephen Baldwin. And the stream was so terrible. It's like, I couldn't. It's unwatchable. Unfortunately, it was a watchable version. Trust me, I would stop the podcast now and watch it. It's just like,
Yeah, that is one of the problems with Tubi. Like when
yeah.
we did I'm sorry, not the Williamson episode
Mhm.
of your podcast in
Oh yeah,
February,
best yeah, February, best friends
right?
forever.
Best Friends Forever. I was trying to watch some of his westerns that are on
Mhm.
Tubi, and they are like there's one that he did. Was it Adios Amigos or something? The one he did with
I
Richard Pryor.
Yeah, I think that I always had a bad transfer. You
Yeah,
know,
it's just absolutely atrocious. And I was like, I can't watch this. And it's a shame because you almost would rather have some of those on there than like some of the other stuff like some of these Willis movies or whatever.
But I guess we'll jump into this one, which is
Yeah. So
okay. Yeah, this
I
was
guess
funny. I
let's see
mean,
if I yeah we'll see I'm gonna do my best at
okay,
a synopsis here.
sure.
So Kevin Dillon, aka Johnny Drama.
I'm gonna stop. You can just stop. You can just stop there because he's definitely at his most Johnny Drama-ist
Yes,
because
so
it's just like,
yes.
oh my. Okay, well, you go with the plot. Sorry, I just
So
had to
Johnny
laugh.
Drama is like I guess actually Frank Grillo is the head of this what they call a ghost team. They're these military ops guys who police departments call in when there's a hostage situation and they can't control it. So Bruce Willis is known as Police Chief Alston. That's his name,
Yes,
Police Chief.
yeah, Police Chief Alston.
Yes, which
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of a bad way to why change your name to Police Chief, because then it's like what if you get moved up to commissioner or something like
Nope,
that?
nope. He's just Police
He's
Chief. That's his first name. His first name is Police. Middle name is Chief. Last name is Alston.
or if he's
That's like,
Commissioner Police Chief Alston, right?
yeah, yeah.
That would be really confusing. So, but he calls in this ghost team to like end this hostage crisis in a school, and it literally blows up on them.
Yeah.
We get an exploding helicopter, which Will from Exploding
Yep.
Helicopters he's already listed this on his Letterboxd
Okay.
list of exploding helicopter movies.
It's not a great one, by the way.
yeah, it's everything. It's like you said. I think it's a very junky.
Yeah.
The whole thing is very junky the way
It's
it
just
happens.
junky the way and then it was like it looked 3D in the beginning in the credits. There was like a fake Oprah going to a crime scene. Do you remember this character? Like there was like a fake Oprah, and then it was 3D looking like, oh my eyes. And then you get with this Kevin Dillon stuff. Well, we'll keep going with the plot, and I'll make fun of him.
So
Like,
I guess in the aftermath of this, I guess Johnny Drama is like
yes,
Johnny Drama is a police officer, or is he a parole officer?
he's like a parole
He's
officer.
a
Yeah,
parole officer. Okay, but he still carries a gun. I didn't know parole officers carried a gun.
maybe he has special circumstances or something.
Yeah, and so he's helping out a parolee who's being attacked by Leon, who is a
Yeah,
crime boss, and Leon's men. He kills one of Leon's men, actually one of Leon's best men.
yeah,
And so then at the same time, Johnny Drama gets fired from his job as a parole officer by Johnny
yeah.
Mesner,
Johnny
who's
Messner.
back
Yeah,
as John
yeah,
Hamm again.
yeah.
With glasses and gray hair.
It was a little different in this one. I mean, like
Yes.
I think his hair is pulled back, his gray hair now, and
Yeah.
a little hammy, but it's like,
It was essentially, if this movie was made in the theater, John Hamm would have been playing this character.
oh, it's such a John Hamm character.
Yeah, for sure. And
Now he's on those, Allstate commercials or
right,
whatever. It's like,
exactly.
or
Yes.
was it Geico? I don't know
Yeah,
which one
one
it
of
is. It's
those,
like,
whatever insurance company it is, right? He's like, yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
he's missing out. I think John Hamm is missing out on like an action career. I mean,
I agree.
but I know he's kind of stuck in that Mad Men kind of cliche
Yeah.
character. He's typecast.
Yeah.
So,
I think you give him a leathered coat,
yep,
5 o'clock
beard.
shadow,
Yep.
beard, and also it's got to be the badge that's on the chain, like it was
Yes.
for Willis.
Yeah.
He's got to have
That's
that
how
kind of badge.
badasses wear it. So
Yeah,
it's just like,
yeah, exactly.
gotta have the chain. That's a great point.
Yeah, that's the role for him, and then like for maybe his partner, it's like a younger guy, like I don't know who would
Well,
be a good
I mean, I think we said Jonathan Lipnicki. It's like because he's old now too, but
exactly.
he seemed young back then. How is he now like 48 years old? I don't know how time goes, but
Yeah, all of these guys are all older now. It's funny because we all think of them as like the new guard. Like we think of Johnny Mesner as like a new guy, or Frank Grillo as a new guy. I mean,
yeah, but Frank Grillo is like 50 or
right, he's
more.
like 67, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to keep going with the plot? I don't want to take up.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
We'll get into the plot. So essentially, what happens with the plot is we find out that Willis, as Police Chief Alston, is actually, I guess, I don't know if we want to say in bed with, but essentially he's working with Leon.
Yeah, he's working with Leon, which I thought Leon did actually a really good job in the role.
Yeah, Leon is fantastic. He's one of my
Yeah.
favorite actors, and so it was great seeing him as the baddie here. Which again, he's kind of turns out to not be the baddie at the end. Which
I know
we'll
that.
We'll get into
that.
Yeah. But what happens is so Leon decides that what Johnny Drama owes him the money that he would have made if he had this guy earning money for him. So he kidnaps Johnny Drama's wife and then tells Johnny Drama that he's got to get $2 million, and the way to get the 2 million is to go steal it from these rival drug guys in the south side of town. I guess they're in Jackson,
Yeah.
Mississippi.
Yeah, it
You
is.
go rob it. So he gets the gang back together, and they go and do this crime. And then when they go to like make the exchange with Leon at the end, everything just goes crazy. We get a whole bunch of shootouts, and then Leon convinces the gang, Johnny Drama's crew, to help him rob a bank that is supposed to be delivering money, I guess, for Police Chief Alston, for Willis's character. So then we get a huge bank shootout,
Yeah.
and then everybody dies except for Leon, Johnny Drama, and Johnny Drama's wife, who they move to Mexico and live happily ever after, which makes no sense at
Yeah,
all, but it's
nothing.
what happens.
Because it's such a straight to video kind of ending. So it's like, and he's, and Johnny Drama's wearing his Hawaiian shirt, and it's trying to be like Matt Dillon. And, well, he's that grimacing he does. Well, first off, Johnny Drama, his name is Connor Connolly. So it's like, get great writing on that one. It's just like, that is so lazy, but you can't help but laugh. So, okay, I was in for a laugh on this one.
Right.
And the mayor is named Mayor Wimbley. It's very close to Mayor Quimby from The Simpsons. So I laughed at that. It was all in the beginning too. And then you get Bruce Willis as, Alston's like, whoa, what's going on over there? And then Grillo and Johnny Drama are singing House of the Rising Sun 500 times in this movie. It's like they couldn't even get the animals when they put
Yeah, it's like what were those things that they used to sell? Maybe I think it was in the 90s, where it was like you buy a CD and it would list all these songs that were popular songs, but somebody else would be performing them.
Yeah, that's what it was like. And there was some other rap songs, and I wrote down the rapper's name because I watched it with subtitles.
Oh right, yeah, me too. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, Mowgli the Iceberg.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I don't remember what the songs were, but it said Mowgli Iceberg is rapping. It's like, okay. It's like, have you heard of Mowgli the Iceberg?
No, I haven't heard of any of these. Like, yeah, it's because again, they're all like, and they don't list any of them in the soundtrack except for the House of the Rising Sun cover that was done. That's the only one that they list.
They play twice in a row. They play at the end when like Bruce Willis is like in trouble. Yeah. Then he's in Hawaii. Then they play some like remix version of, and it's just like. And also when the helicopter exploded, let's just say very sci-fi. I was kind of laughing at that. Yes. And of course, then Bruce is, he's threatening to lose his job again. So I also
that's another one where he's going to lose his job, which is and there's just like this whole thing with Grillo where like I guess like we don't really get enough sense.
Yeah. What was with that? Because it's like the Grillo subplot was very shoehorned in. Like, oh right, we have Grillo in this movie. Let's make up some really quick story about nothing, really.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, the one thing that really struck me about the Grillo in this is that, like, despite the fact that his character, like you said, it's just like completely just out of nowhere, you get the vibe of Grillo as a great leading man. So at least we can see the it factor with him there, and like
he definitely has it. He carried this movie a lot. I think him and Leon, and I can't help but laugh at Johnny Drama because. Johnny Drama, he's wearing the SWAT outfit. It looks like a scuba suit, and this is like, I was really almost on the floor laughing with the scuba suit part. And then he's fighting with his brother that looked very choppy, and I'm assuming that looked the same for you. Hopefully, it wasn't a bad stream, but it's just like it was choppy looking. And you got Willis. I mean, he has his beard. What do you call him? Discount Santa?
I think it was like he's like off-season Santa. Like he's
off-season
the beard, right? Off-season, yeah. It's like the way that because that was the thing we talked about is how most of these movies Willis is like clean shaven and it's everybody else who has the beard. So this was a departure that he had the beard in this.
And Grillo kind of had the beard, and Dillon, almost had the beard, but he had an intimidating mustache, kind of, the best he can do.
Yeah.
So it's just like. I mean, this is like a Johnny Drama. Like, this is his dream, that character, to be in this kind of movie.
Yes.
And that's what makes it so funny, because, like, oh, wait, this is just Kevin Dillon. So it's just like...
I know. Well, because I was thinking, like, when the wife is first kidnapped, and he's, like driving to wherever he's got to go, and he's like losing his mind, and it's like they're playing like this really bad screen next to the
Yep.
car that's supposed to show driving, and
Yep.
it felt like the deconstruction of Johnny Drama. And had the movie been that, had it been like we're just gonna put Johnny Drama through the ringer and just make him like just like this sad look on his face the whole time, it would have been hilarious. But of course, we almost kind of lose Johnny Drama when
A little bit.
Willow comes
Yeah.
in.
It's like, oh right, Johnny Drama's in this movie, and it's just like,
Yeah. I mean, the Leon thing was fascinating too, because it's like, so Leon has kidnapped. He's really great in the role as the
yeah,
bad
he's
guy.
excellent. I thought he really stood out. He was
Yeah.
like just fun. He had some couple good quips, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's like he kidnaps Dylan's wife. He's like got her tied to a chair. He finds out she's pregnant, and she's like, asking him to not smoke around her. He's like, sure, I won't smoke around you, but yeah, I'll still have you tied to a chair because that's probably
Yeah,
really good for a wife.
yeah,
Is
that's
woman
not
who's
great.
pregnant. Yeah,
Yeah,
put a bag over your head. That's perfectly fine for when you're pregnant. That won't put any stress on the baby. And it's like all of that stuff happens, but then it's like, oh, let's just water under the bridge now. We're all
that's a
gonna,
great point. And then
yeah,
now you have this Heat knockoff for the last 30 minutes. It's
yeah.
like, wait, am I watching like the stupid version of Heat? And it's like it's just like so.
Well, you know what I thought of?
Yeah.
I thought it was a bad version of the opening scene to Recoil, with Gary Daniel. That's what I
Yeah.
was thinking.
So if you're ripping off Recoil and then ripping off almost, how about this? You're ripping off Den of Thieves.
Yeah,
That is like with Gerard Butler.
right.
Because I think that's what they're trying to be like. They're trying to be like Den of Thieves. So it's like,
Yeah.
don't rip off Den of Thieves.
No.
It's
And
like,
it was all tacked on too.
yes, it's so tacked up. That's
Yeah.
right. It's like, wait, what is this movie now? I thought this was about like Police Chief Alston. Oh, he's back. And he has a machine gun. He doesn't look like he's shooting it correctly. So it's just like, and then the other thing I thought was funny, well, everyone's getting shot at the end.
Right.
Okay, you must know this by now for these action movies where they shoot like a random guy and there was that weird noise. This guy is like, rah! Do you remember what I'm talking about?
It's like,
It's like
exactly what you're talking
I mean, that noise drives me nuts. That's just my personal thing.
about. Right.
It's like, oh, you have this noise in it. All right, I already kind of lose like a lot of credibility. So it's like, and I'm not thinking they did it twice. And it's like,
yeah.
you can't just let the guy just fall over. You need that weird scream. It's just like, it's just like, I'm happy you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
It's just like,
Yeah.
and then go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say too. I mean, these are supposed to be the good guys, right? Our gang of thieves.
Yeah, our gang of thieves. I'm not even call it
Yeah.
a den of thieves.
Instead of right, exactly. But they're shooting innocent police officers, and they're just doing their job. It's like there's like this one kind of big guy who's like kind of lurking around the corner. I was like, oh man, he's
Yeah.
gonna get it. And he's
Yeah.
like, kind of lumbers over, and they just start popping him with bullets.
And this was so funny. And then we're watching the subtitles. A lot of the subtitles they said indistinct,
It's like
Yeah.
unintelligible, something like that.
unintelligible. Yeah, it's like, and some of it was Willis. It's just like, it's like, uh-oh. And so it was everyone. It was Kevin
Yeah.
Dillon who yells no in the beginning, which is like, okay, I'm having a real good laugh.
Yeah, I wonder if out of the because this still also doesn't quite have the young guy heavy lifting piece that you usually see, but out of all of those sort of non-traditional action guys that they put into this role, I mean Kevin Dillon. I mean when you first messaged me because you started this one before I did, and you were
Yeah.
like, this is literally Johnny Drama, and
Yeah.
and I mean it's so I mean he it's almost like he can only play Johnny Drama.
And now that's all he can do now. He's typecast. But I wanted him to keep doing it because it's really funny. So it's just like, because like this is his chance. I know he has another movie with Will. It's called Wire Room.
Yes.
Now I haven't seen it yet, but I think it's out now. Or if you only have to pay Amazon $6, whatever. It is.
Yeah, let's see.
Not going to pay $6.
Yeah, it's the Amazon $6 version. Yeah.
It
It's
made me
actually
want to.
directed by
ahead.
Matt Eskandari, who I
Mhm.
think did Hard Kill. He did Hard
Oh
Kill.
yeah, I did see that. And it's Bruce Willis stuck in a building. It's just like,
Yeah.
wait a second. It was more of an abandoned building.
Right, that's
Oh
the Jesse
no.
Metcalf one, where
Yeah,
it's
just
like
make up. Yeah.
they get Willis out of the way in that one just by Jesse Metcalf's like, you got to stay here to be safe. And he's like,
Yes.
okay,
It's like, oh, okay, I'll just sit here. And then your favorite thing about the Pico, right?
yes. Oh
Hard
man,
Kill.
yeah. So Hard Kill is the one. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
wonder what Matt Eskandari does for doubles in this one because yeah, he there's that scene where they're walking to the Jesse Metcalf and his crew with his buddy are walking to the warehouse, and I'm like, who is this tall guy with this tall bald guy with a pea coat who's walking with them? Is that like some other member of their gang that they didn't introduce us to? And then it's like they get inside the warehouse, like, oh no, that was supposed to be Willis, and so
That's Seagal level. That is
yeah.
Seagal level of ridiculousness.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you noticed. I think it was in the credits of this one. Yeah, it was in the credits of this one, where they list the doubles, and everybody had a stunt double except Willis had a stunt double and a body double.
Yes, he. Yeah, I know. You could almost tell in Day to Die, like, okay, he's not here. He's not here. It's just like, it's like I don't think he was even talking to Leon. It's just like,
No, when they're sitting together, I think
yeah,
there's a couple of wide shots, but
yeah,
and even with the wide shots, you wonder, just thinking about, I mean, how many movies, you see where it's like, or how many like old TV shows or something where it's like, somebody's playing two parts, it's like the main character's twin brother shows up and it's like they're together and they just use that old film trick to like put them
yeah.
in the same scene.
Might as well just do that.
Right.
It's
You wonder how many times they do that with that kind of thing, where, especially now with digital and computers, especially, I mean, with the digital piece, they just filter the light, so it's all the same. And then it's just a matter of just splicing together. It would be interesting to know, and I wonder if the people who do these films do like any kind of NDAs or something, or if maybe it's just like one of those things where you don't want to lose the opportunity to do more of these movies and get quick paydays, that you don't want to go to an interview and be like, yeah, I didn't do a single scene with Willis, but I just every scene we did, even the ones where we're in the same shot together, we didn't do them together.
So I'm hoping that once Wire Room or Survive the Game, Fortress Sniper's Eye, all this
Right.
would come to regular Hulu, not AMC Plus, because then maybe we can do another one of these,
Oh yeah.
because that would be really funny to do. It's like, here we go again, or Detective Knight. I'm not sure when that comes out, but
Well, I wonder too, because I was gonna do Fortress and Fortress Sniper's Eye for that solo one, but Tubi got rid of Fortress.
I
And
saw that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like, well, all right, well, if why would I want to do Fortress Snipers? I mean, which I guess a lot of people probably do, because it doesn't sound like it's a sequel unless you knew in advance that there was a Fortress. You probably didn't know it was a sequel when you watched Sniper's Eye, because it doesn't
So
say anything.
that's a good point. And then what's really funny is that he made that movie called Survive the Night,
Yeah.
and then he made a movie called Survive the Game, and it's like, that's actually confusing. I mean, it's like, and I am not mistaken, they both have Chad Michael Murray.
Yes, yes.
So,
I
but
think so.
it's not a sequel. And it's my favorite cover for Survive the Night. We have Bruce Willis with his badge. So it's just like, it looks like I haven't. Oh, did I see it? All these movies kind of meld together sometimes. I think I did see Survive the Night.
Yeah. Well, because
Um,
it's funny too, because I think with these movies, yeah, I mean, I think like for example, Survive the Night. I'm trying to see if, looking at the outfit that he's wearing, if that was I'm trying to think if
it
that
was like
was
a coat. It's like he's
yeah.
wearing
I was trying to think if there was a movie like Acts of Violence or something.
acts of
It's like
violence. Yeah.
I think there was a movie he did where he wore that, and it's just like they take a shot of him from that movie
Oh,
and they
that's a
just
great point. Yeah, they
Photoshop
just.
the badge on.
I think they did. I think they photoshopped the whole picture of Bruce Willis on that, because I don't think he wears coats in both movies like that. There's no way.
Right,
I think he
exactly.
wears the coat in Acts of Violence, but doesn't Survive the Game. I think he's sitting in a chair. He's
Yeah.
like tied up in a chair, like Desperate Hours, basically what the movie is.
Yeah, because somebody
So
made a joke about that he was doing a lot of movies in the early, 2020, 2021.
yeah,
They're just him tied to a chair, which
yeah,
again, it's another way to mitigate the issues. I mean, Hard Kill, he spent some time, and sitting in a chair. It's a great way to mitigate some of those issues with, with his illness preventing him from doing the movies well. Just have him sit, and just and it probably isn't even actually tied to the chair, right? He's probably just
oh,
sitting with his hands behind his back.
yeah. That's his body double.
Right,
It's like,
exactly. Right, right.
like,
Yeah, it's it's a fascinating thing with these movies, and I think with this one here, it's hard. It was like you feel like you're getting. I felt like I was getting more Willis in this one, but
yes,
like,
that's a great point.
yeah, but like, do we really know how much Willis we're getting, right? Because it's like, like the way that they do the scenes, it's like he does a bunch of scenes behind his desk.
Yeah,
It's like they just sprinkle them through the film a certain way or something like that.
it's like, oh, hey, look, he's in this more. No, it's like no, and then Johnny Drama leaves for a while. It's like, wait, where's my great acting of Johnny Drama? But then Grillo picked up the slack. He fired up the Grillo and did a good job.
Yeah.
See, because Grillo was in one of these Bruces already, right? Reprisal. So
Right.
it's like,
And also Cosmic Sin. Is
I
another
haven't
one.
seen that yet, because I got that mixed up with Apex.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's
maybe
another
I
one.
saw Cosmic Sin and not Apex. So
Yeah.
because they're
Yeah.
both in. Yeah, I saw Cosmic Sin. He's in space. Bruce in space.
Yeah, is
So
that
it's
one
like,
on Netflix or is that
yeah, it's
on
on
Hulu?
Netflix. Yeah,
Yeah.
because Survive the Game is on AMC Plus. It's like, oh,
Okay.
it's
But
always tricky to get to that. So
Survive the Night is on
yeah,
Prime Video. It's included with Prime if you have Prime.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, if it's on
I do.
AMC
Yeah.
Plus, yeah, that's
So
that one.
it's
It,
tricky with these new Willises if you want to do like another one of these double Willises. You know, there's corrective measures on
yeah,
Tubi, right? So
yeah, he's. I mean, there's a lot around. That's the thing, right? There's a
that's a good
ton
point.
there. But I think I think that's the key is like finding ones like I mean, this one here, A Day to
Yeah,
Die. I think
yeah,
as a movie for somebody to go
yeah.
watch it, I think it's. I don't know if we could recommend it, but for a
I just
podcast,
can't. Yeah,
yeah,
but yeah, on a podcast, it is almost worth recommending because we're telling you how ridiculous this movie is.
yeah, I mean the stuff. I mean, one of the best pieces of it, so we, I think one of our longstanding jokes. I think it was you and Brett came up with this joke about the between Willis and Seagal with the fake versions of him, the fake Shemps from like the
Yeah,
old Three Stooges. When what was the story with that? With like Shemp like quit or something, or he couldn't
yeah,
do
and
episodes.
they got a new stewed, but he's a fake Shemp. And I've heard this before on the site called great. I don't want to screw this up, so let me figure out the
Yeah.
name of the site's name. Oh, a good efficient guide to butchery.
Okay.
He's been saying Shemp too, so it's like, okay, I don't want to like say him. I'm stealing his idea.
No.
Mark Tinta is his name, by the way.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the Shemp thing is so funny because who has the best fake Shemps? That's also a good question.
Right. Right. Because well,
That's a good
Seagal.
question.
The funny thing is, I think with Seagal, I think the big difference between Seagal and Willis is that Seagal is always like still the star of the movie, even though he's not
Mm,
in it. Whereas like Willis is portrayed as a big part of his movies, but then it's usually like again like a Kevin Dillon or a Jesse Metcalf who's actually
yeah,
the star of the movie.
and they've been doing that for a long time now.
Yeah.
That's why you find these new people. I don't think, like you said, I think going back to those Chris's. It's going to be a while until Chris Pratt does straight to
See,
video.
see, I
I
don't
mean,
know. The only thing about
it's like,
Chris Pratt is in like some kind of like conservative like Christian religion. And
oh, you think that can knock him down the
I feel
line?
like he could
It's
say
like,
something. He seems to be pretty good about not saying anything bad, but he could say something that gets him canceled.
yeah,
And
and then he'd
and
be right the red box,
he'd be right
which
because yeah, like I mean,
yeah.
look at Mel Gibson, right? He's doing these kinds of
Oh,
movies.
now and he's with Kevin Dillon and On the Line, Mel
Right.
Gibson. Which I saw the
Exactly.
trailer. Looks like talk radio meets like Desperate Hours or something.
Right.
But
Exactly.
but it looks good. I mean, because it's
Yeah.
Mel Gibson
Yeah.
and Kevin Dillon or
Yeah.
Giant Drama. So
It's funny the way when you bring up some of these like movies, like like you said, like Talk Radio meets Desperate Hours. I mean,
yeah,
Talk Radio, that's a movie that like I remember that with Eric Bogosian like a
yeah,
long time ago, and it's like it was like a definite like video store, like our cable movie. Like I
yep,
mean, it was in the
100%.
theater, but it's amazing how like people, a movie like that came out like however long ago, like they use that paradigm for so many things.
Yeah, especially TV shows because they
Yes,
usually call them dead air. So it's just
yes,
like
exactly.
there's so many examples of that. I just only know one top of my head, which is the Ghost Whisperer.
Yeah,
Oh, and I
yes.
think and Nash Bridges they do one called Dead Air.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. And I mean, even like what was it, Forever Night,
oh
that
yes,
USA
wow! Did you
show?
read my mind? I was
Yeah,
about to say Forever Night. Yeah.
yes,
So
yes,
that was definitely called Dead Air. And I just laughed. It's like wait, I was kind of catching on to it after that. Like wait a second, this seems familiar to me. They're
right.
always protecting some radio host.
Yes,
Just like
yes,
who's getting threatened, and it's like usually like a Rush Limbaugh type.
yeah,
Obama, and just like so, just like they kind of did that in the new Law and Order. Like a guy doesn't like Obama esque
yeah,
things. So, but yeah, they didn't call it dead air though.
yeah, yeah. But it's like that concept that just like they just you don't think like when you watch a movie like Talk Radio back. I mean, I think I watched it on TV in like
Yeah, I
the
saw it a long time
nine.
ago, but it was still a good movie. I mean, if I don't have a copy or anything, but it's still a good movie. I don't want a copy really because it's
Yeah,
like, but
yeah.
Bogosian's so good in it. You know,
He is, yeah, and you don't think like, oh, I watched this movie in 20 or 30 years, I'm gonna keep seeing like, I don't know if rip off is the right word, but people that are gonna like steal from the paradigm
yeah, it's
for
like
it.
the idea, it's just like
Yeah,
the same idea, and I think that's why On the Line it might be pretty good. I think it's
yeah,
coming out November 4th.
Yeah.
So it's relatively soon. Well, it says on digital and buy it today. I'm just an ad for On the Line.
Right.
So it's like,
Well, because what I want to see, if we're gonna get more Kevin Dillon, I mean, I want to see like
yes,
if it's gonna be On the Line, it's got to be Johnny Drama interacting with Mel Gibson, right? And actually, it's
that
interesting.
happens. It happens in the trailer. But see, because Johnny Drama plays like the call screener guy to
Yeah,
Mel Gibson.
yeah,
So like that's very
yeah.
great. I think he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt. He's becoming the new Madsen here.
Right.
Kevin Dillon. He's wearing these Hawaiian shirts
I
lately.
know, I
Yeah,
know.
it's like,
Can you imagine, like, I mean, just like like Kevin. I mean, that was the thing about this was just like, I mean, you take Johnny Drama from Entourage and you kidnap his wife, and he's just like, I mean, like when he wakes up in the car, like so to give people an idea of what happens, he and his wife are like in like a strip mall parking lot, and he like is standing out of his car because he's gonna go shopping, and one of Leon's strongmen gives him like a chokehold and puts him to sleep. He keeps saying, "Don't fight it, white boy. Don't fight it, white
yeah,
boy."
yeah.
And then when he wakes up, he's handcuffed to his steering wheel in his car in this parking lot. And Leon pulls up next to him and is like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, hey, we kidnapped your wife, and you got to do all this stuff." And it's just like Johnny Drama. The Johnny Drama like grimace and
Yeah.
scowl is it's
Yes.
essentially like either he's really sad that like something bad happened to him, or he smells something funny.
Yeah. And that's his whole way of acting in this whole movie. And what's makes it so fun, especially during the scenes where he's back in his SWAT scuba gear outfit. So
I mean,
it's
when
like,
they put the black helmet on him, and it's
yeah.
almost like his head is swimming in the helmet. It's like,
Yeah, I couldn't just this his face is just funny to look at sometimes because he's like, why are you in this outfit? I mean, it's just like it's really funny. I can't take it seriously. It
yeah.
was- and I saw that Kevin Dillon's in another Mel Gibson thing, was called Hot Seat, which I
Mhm.
haven't watched yet, but
No, I
it's
haven't.
it's definitely a Kevin Dillon joint. So
Yeah. I mean, there's a scene when so Johnny Capaldi, who's been in some of these kind of movies,
yes, I want to talk about him for a second. Yeah.
yeah, he plays the brother, and there's a scene where they're doing the drop off, and then it's like one of those standoff things where Leon's men all have their guns trained on them, and when Kevin Dillon kind of makes the face at Johnny Capaldi, like, "Oh, we're gonna take these guys down," and he
Yes.
does
Yep.
that quick, what is that move where like they quickly like move their hands really quickly and disarm? I mean, it's all kind of comes from Seagal. I think all of these characters pulled that
It's
from
kind of
him.
like quick karate moves. It's like
Yeah. And they get the guns and then they start, when it's Johnny Drama doing that, it's
yeah.
just like another level of hilarious that
When he did that, I had to pause 'cause I had to laugh so hard. It's like, and
yeah.
because I gotta say, even though I guess I have to, what? I may change my mind. I might recommend this just
Yeah.
for laughs.
I
It's
think
like,
it's one of those things
yeah,
where like if you're gonna watch this, you either gotta know like
yeah, you
what
know what you're
you and
getting
I
into.
right, know you're getting to know like because you and I knew we were watching it together, even though we
Yeah,
weren't in the same room, we were like messaging. I
yeah,
think at the very least you gotta have something like that. Go into this with a partner, with a buddy who's gonna be able to like interact with you about it because there's so much that happens in this movie that you need to tell somebody. Like you need to have somebody else who's going through it with you and gets the jokes and
that's a
all
good
that
point.
stuff.
Because that's the thing about this movie. Because once you realize, oh, it's this kind of movie, which is just like, it's like, and then when I saw the fake 3D effects and the fake Oprah and the giant drama, and because I strapped in, it's like, okay, this is kind of what I was hoping American Siege would be,
Right.
but it wasn't, which is fine.
Yeah.
So like this was perfect. So
Yes. Yeah, it's perfect for a
I
podcast like this.
I really love talking about this one because there's like I needed. Well, I'm in a good mood obviously all the time, but I really go with you to laugh. So it's just
Yes.
like
Yeah. And this one had, I mean, probably the funniest piece for me talking about
yeah. What
Johnny
was your funniest
Capaldi.
part? Yeah.
With Johnny Capaldi, talking about the whole fake Shemp thing with Bruce Willis, there's a scene when they're kind of like stuck in the bank. They're holed up in the bank and they're getting shot at. And Johnny Capaldi sees that there's the red dot on Kevin Dillon. So he knows he's gonna get shot. So he goes to charge to block him. And like when he's running, his hair is kind of flopped down the way Shemp's was on the old
Yep.
show. And he's grimacing. So his face is all kind of screwed up the way that like Shemp's was too. So it just looked like Shemp like running to protect him.
Yeah.
And with the slow motion in particular, it was so fitting. But I mean, it was hilarious to be like this guy just looks like Shemp, like, and of course it's like the whole like, oh, I gotta protect my brother and then take
Yeah.
the bullet.
Yeah. I'm trying to pinpoint my favorite part. I think maybe it was. I'm trying to think here because it's so funny. Maybe the beginning because it's just a huge mess of them, Frank Grillo and Johnny Drama singing.
Right? Yeah.
and then Bruce Willis is kind of just standing there in the other office, like what is going on? And don't remember in these movies, like or in this movie, or maybe I think American Steve's, like they have a freeze frame on Grillo,
Yes.
freeze frame on
Yes.
Johnny Drama, and then a freeze frame on Willis, just to get like some extra Willis.
Right.
You know, it's just like,
Right. It was almost like the end of an episode of Chips, right? Where
yes,
it's like,
yeah. Where's Eric Estrada?
right.
You know, I look. Well, he did some action movies. Did you see Light Blast? I think you did, right? It's just like,
I haven't seen that one yet. I've
oh
been meaning
wow, you
to.
guys see Light Blast?
Yes. I
Yeah.
saw what was some of the Eric Estrada. I mean, I saw the Sedaris films he did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
There's the
and
one
then
called The Lost Idol. It was also kind of fun too. And
I
of course,
haven't checked
Chips
that out.
99.
Chips, right? Yeah, Chips, not yeah. And then he did a prison movie. It was like him and some like beefy like martial arts guy. It was like one of those like caged heat kind of things where like these women get thrown into a prison
Oh,
in
one
LA
of
or
those,
something.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
like-
he's like going to save. I think he wore like a pink polo shirt for most of the movie. Yeah.
Do you know when this came out? Because I can look it up really quickly. It's just,
Which
was it
oh,
the Eric Estrada prison movie?
Oh yeah,
It's like-
it was in the late '80s, early '90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but he did Cage Fury. Yeah, so
that's it. Yeah.
Eric Estrada is an interesting person. I mean, like he's made a lot of weird movies. I would
Yeah.
definitely. I know we're talking about Willis, but I would definitely check out Tuesday Never Comes if we can get that available. It's a Trauma DVD.
Yeah.
And that's a very weird movie, an odd part by Eric Estrada. So, and of course, he made some good ones. Actually, I'm looking at his career. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Eric Estrada. But
Yeah, I mean, he had those couple of the couple of Sedaris movies. Yeah, I'm sort of think Twisted Justice. That one seems.
Twisted Justice, that was a David Hebner.
Yes, yeah.
The Last
That's
Rider's a
cool.
bit disappointing.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
now, the thing is, do you think Willis might maybe come back? I
I'm-
mean, it's like,
I think that there's going to be more and more treatments for this,
Okay,
but I also feel like I don't want to cast aspersions on the Emmett Furla production
oh
company.
yeah, they're always in trouble.
Yeah, I feel like so Sean Malloy mentioned this when actually I think it was when it might have been the trailer to Gasoline Alley. It was one of the trailers where he was like, boy, Willis looks like he's really struggling, and he was like, do they need to do a wellness check? And then it was like maybe like 2 weeks later that it came out about his struggles. But he was saying he was likening it to Bela Lugosi in the Ed Wood movies, where it was like he was on his last legs and they were just like propping him up to make Plan 9 from Outer Space. You do kind of wonder with like these cutesy techniques that they use to mitigate some of the concerns with him that like, I mean, does it get to the point? I mean, it may get to the point where it's like Eric Roberts, where he's just, sitting behind a desk and
Or in
a van.
our favorite van, we still haven't seen the circuit show where he's sitting in the van. Now, we've been waiting a couple of years now.
I know.
But yeah, you're right though. So they're propping him up, and you feel bad.
Yeah.
Because I think Midnight in the Switchgrass was a good example of him getting propped up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, and I know Randall Emmett directed, which I thought wasn't a bad movie because Emil Hirsch carried it. He carried Willis and Megan Fox. It's like, that's heavy lifting there. But yeah, he did look a little propped up in that one. And I think Randall Emmett's not doing so hot in the old legal department. It's like,
No, I think there's some stuff going on there. And
yeah, because he's a toxic work environment, one of those things. There's a big article. It's a Variety or Hollywood Reporter. You can find a big list of stuff. It also, I think it was in the New York Post.
Yeah, I tried to find it because I was looking it up, and I think what I need to do is look up Randall Emmett specifically, because I looked up Emmett Furla Productions, and it was just all nice stuff in there. So I was
Okay, because
yeah,
maybe he's hiding it, but I think it's just like, I forgot that he produced The Row. It's like, with La La Kent.
right.
With
Yes. Right, from Vanderpump. I found out from when I did the previous one that she did Vanderpump Rules. That's where she's famous.
So that was a reality show, right? Just
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So Lisa Vanderpump, actually, she was in a Naked Eyes video. I can't remember the name of the song. It wasn't Promises or
Okay.
Always Something to Remind Me. It was another one where the
Promises.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's like the guys in the band play like chauffeurs at a fancy like rich person's party, and Lisa Vanderpump is there as one of the rich people at the party. So yeah. So then I think I wonder if I'm trying to remember if she was on like one of those Housewives shows, and then they did the spin-off into Vanderpump. The machinations of these things, it's always hard to keep up with them.
So that's the thing, because I'll have to find the article. I thought maybe I could find it before this recording, but
Yeah, about what? Yeah,
it's just, but it's mostly just la news. So just like,
oh, right, yeah, and I think because I think they're engaged now. I think
oh, they're engaged. I thought they broke up. I see. That's the thing. I have
they
no
might have.
idea.
They may have
Yeah,
broken up because he was married to a woman that did it was Amber Childress who did she
I've
was
heard of
in
that name.
Vice. Yeah,
Yeah,
she was in
Vice. Yeah, she was
yeah,
the lead in Vice, basically, right?
exactly. So he was
Yeah,
married to her and had two kids with her, and then they divorced. So then I think he moved on to Lala, and she's been in these movies. And so, but maybe that didn't work out, and so yeah. So who knows? What's going on there with him?
well, I found something. I mean, about the Bruce Willis stuff with Randall Emmett. It's like he said that Randall Emmett knew that Bruce Willis was having, struggles.
Yeah.
So,
Well, right, because
you
that's
know,
the question, right? Was it
during
Randall
Midnight
Emmett?
Switchgrass. Yeah,
Yeah, it was Emmett doing Willis a solid by trying to get as many of these movies out as he could
oh,
so he could get
100%.
money, right?
You know,
Or was it that
um,
Emmett wanted to get as many movies for himself? That's the
it's
question. Was
probably
it
a little bit of both.
right? That's
It's
probably
like,
you're right. It's
yeah,
helping Willis out, but also helping himself out.
because I think I'm assuming he's still rich.
Yeah,
Randall Emmett. He's
yeah,
making all these great movies that we watch.
right,
So it's just like
right, exactly.
you see that M for Millennium Films, or and now we see Vertical Entertainment.
Yeah,
So it's just
yeah.
like
Vertical's the one, right? All of these
yeah,
had the vertical had like these little like lines that are up and down for vertical
and it's
entertainment.
like I think American Siege had like 5 production
I
companies. It's
know
like here we go
exactly.
again with that. I still laugh at that because that's a great Family Guy joke to find on
Exactly. That
YouTube.
was the best.
It's
Isn't it
like
when the movie's starting?
he's like, oh come on! It's like a man with panting arm film. It's like, oh, this guy's coming to town. Oh, that's
Yeah,
that's obviously misleading. It's
yeah.
like the way he did every joke. That was such a great bit.
It
So,
was. Yeah,
that's why Family Guy's still pretty funny. I know people kind of slam it, but
yeah.
it's just like,
The thing I think about with Family Guy is that like when you watch it, because they do so many jokes in an episode, I think like depending on what they were doing for that episode, some of them have more good jokes than others. And I think, if somebody catches it on a day when there's not really good ones, they're probably gonna be like, oh, this show's, getting past, or like they do some that definitely do cross the line. And I think it's more like they cross the line not because they're trying to punch down, but because they thought it was a great joke, and then they rushed the episode out and then realized like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have made fun of that person or something like that.
they've done that, but then then you kind of still kind of get away with it.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm trying.
exactly. There's still plenty of moments with Family Guy where I'm just like, I watch it, a joke where I'm just like, there was one recently, I guess it was a few years ago, where they were making fun of the salad you get at an Italian, like at a pizza place.
Mhm.
And it was like, how
Oh,
they
I
always do
remember
those
that. Yeah,
asides. Yeah, and they're just like
yeah,
talking about like, well, just throw a hunk of lettuce on here. Then what are these pepper things? And this
yeah.
this this old, grimy tomato and stuff like that. And it was like exactly like every salad you ever get from a pizza place.
It's a good bit. That's why they still have something.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And yeah, I think, kind of as we're kind of almost, I realize we've already kind of,
Oh wow, almost
yeah,
almost 90 minutes or
yeah,
so.
we're getting, yeah. So I think you're right. I think American Siege is one that you could do by yourself if you had time to kill on
Yeah,
your own.
that's a good point.
Yeah. Whereas I think this one, even if you're by yourself and maybe you've got, like in our situation where we're messaging, and not in the same space, I think you really need to do this movie with somebody else watching it, even if it's like, asynchronously and you're just messaging about it or something, because there is like so much goofiness going on in this movie that if you do it by yourself, it's going to be a slog. Um,
Yes, I agree with that. So it's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but yeah, but if you want to have huge laughs, day to
Yes.
die,
Yeah.
it's, you know, I
Yeah,
mean,
I didn't even watch that many episodes of Entourage.
I've only seen the first season, but I just know that character from
Yeah, it's you just
Kev Dillon.
yeah.
It's
I
like,
think even like the concept of Johnny Drama had like when Entourage was popular, that concept was
yeah,
even sort of out there in the zeitgeist where everybody kind of knew it. And I think even if you haven't watched Entourage, you'll get what we mean when we say Johnny
yeah,
Drama with
yeah.
Kevin Dillon.
Maybe Turtle will be in these next few movies. Let's not forget. People used to love make fun of Turtle.
Right, exactly.
People. I I always said I only seen the first season, but I know Turtle. I know Giant Drama. I never seen the
Yeah,
movie. I hear it's not
yeah.
too great, but I'm not gonna like go back now and watch this Kevin Dillon stuff. Or
It's
am I? I gotta go. I'm going to watch the full series of Entourage. Now been recorded. No, I'm not. I'm not going to do that. It's like,
Yeah, right. You come back with so I've been going through. Yeah, like the next time
yeah,
we're doing a podcast, we're all talking about what we've been
you
watching.
know what? I'm on season 2 now.
Yeah,
It's like I love that giant drama and Turtle. But yeah, soon you'll see Jerry Ferrara in these movies. I'm surprised he's not. See, people forget that Turtle could be in more movies.
yeah,
Or let's see. Oh, well, I think Milo Ventimiglia. He should pop up soon.
yeah. I
And
think
who am I
he is
thinking of?
perfect. Milo
Yeah,
Ventimiglia, he is
yeah,
perfect
he's
for this
perfect.
kind of movie.
Yeah. And I had one more. A World of Valderrama, maybe.
Yeah,
Like this gets me from that '70s show, or it's just like I said, younger, older. But and then we have some new movies coming out. I know Stallone was close. Stallone was close with Backtrace and that Ryan Guzman dude. It's like I thought Ryan Guzman's gonna be a big star. I guess The Boy Next Door. Remember that movie with Jennifer Lopez? Just a Fear knockoff. But it's like
right, right,
it's basically just Fear, but it had Jennifer Lopez. So it's like so no
right,
Marky Mark.
right. I mean, that was. I remember I got I got Fear on. Do you remember with the old cable system? The way it worked was like you had to call to do pay-per-view.
Yes.
Yeah,
You had to call in.
yeah. And I remember oh no, actually, I think this was one where you could order. No, I think I had to call, and I called, but I called too soon, and because
Yeah,
it
because
said
you
the
had a time limit. You're like, here
right.
come 10 seconds. You got 10 seconds to get this to get on the TV.
Yeah, they said
Yeah.
15 minutes, so I called 15 minutes, but they gave us the softcore porn movie instead, and I was like, well, no,
Oh
I'm not
no.
paying for the softcore porn movie with only 15 minutes left. I want the I wanted Fear, and they're like, okay, that's all right, we'll take it off the bill. So they did,
Yeah,
but it was
that's
like a
good at
whole
least.
thing that you had to deal with back then. And then I taped it off a pay-per-view, and my
Yes,
friends
that's
and
the
I watched
classic
it.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of Boston accents, when he's like when he goes to try to kill the dad, and he's like, "Daddy, you will forever hold your peace."
Yeah. Because there was the rumor that Justin Bieber wanted to remake Fear as the Mark Wahlberg character. And I know I've said this before, but why? If they made that we make fun of that today, if they made it, let's just say, I don't know, 9 years ago when that would
Yeah.
probably be more popular, it would be we was like, remember when Justin Bieber made Fear? We all be just cracking up at it. Oh, we don't get to have that. We don't get to have that. It's like
Yeah.
you have a fake sentence now. Just like,
I mean,
wouldn't that be great though? Because it's like,
it's kind of funny to think about some of those things where it's like the things that we can are able to joke about. You're right, we think the idea of them making something like that would be so horrible, but you're right. Had they made it, it would have been a constant joke for us for like
the
that
rest of our lives, maybe. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, especially if they
I
had him do a bad mass accent, that would have been even
oh,
better.
that'd be so great. I'm trying to think of like who would be the Reese Witherspoon character, but I don't. Oh, maybe Selena Gomez or something.
Yeah,
So
or
it's just like,
is it the,
yeah.
the girl that does the Comcast commercials? Who I have no, I think she's supposed to be famous, but she's just like, I think she's like a pop singer or something. I have no idea who she is,
Oh,
but
I have
she's
no
like,
idea.
yeah,
It's
she's like
like,
telling us to get Xfinity. We could save money over Verizon or something
well,
like
it's
that.
not really. Well, yes, it's true. So just make sure you don't get knocked off.
Right,
It's just like,
exactly.
it's like just walking ads. I mean, if I really wanted to spend money, I would, get these Willis movies, but I don't feel like paying the cable
No,
bill on that. You pay
no.
enough.
And,
It's
and
like,
and the thing is with these Willis movies too is that they're so. I mean, again, like the Hulu ones. I mean, I don't know. I want to say there's like 10 of these on Hulu.
that's a
It's
lot. I'm gonna double check. I think you can search by actor on Hulu. I think.
yes, yeah, you
So like,
definitely can.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
mean, because I know Nicolas Cage has his own section on Hulu. Like, there's a whole Nicolas Cage section, which is great.
Yeah, I think is he gonna stop making those? I think now because now I watched the Nick Cage movie, the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Right? Yes. Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
Okay, so I'll give you
It's
a heads up, which is it's not great.
yeah.
The beginning is good, but then it falls into like these cliched plots about like Mexican armies and like chase sequences and like
Right.
they don't they only skim the surface of Nicolas Cage's career because the plot is this Mexican like cartel guy loves Nicolas Cage, but they don't go far enough.
Yeah.
I don't. There's like, oh, I love Time to Kill and 8 mm, anything. They stick to Con Air, Face Off. They don't even go Racing with the Moon. If you're a super Nick Cage fan, you got to mention them all. You got to mention what's that great one? The one he has that awesome. Kill Chain. Why don't you mention
Yes.
Kill Chain? Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I was in Kill Chain. It's like, which is a great title. Awesome cover, great title. Not the greatest movie, but
Right.
you see the cover for that?
Yeah, I haven't. I that one sounds
For Kill
familiar.
Chain?
Let me look it up. I'll see.
Yeah.
'Cause that sounds familiar, but
Yeah, I think it's the Amazon Prime exclusive movie.
oh
I remember.
yes,
If you look
yes,
at it, he has like a jacket on, slick
yeah.
back, maybe fake hair, and that crowbar. It's,
Yeah,
just,
the crowbar.
it's like,
Yeah, it's
okay,
on
this.
Prime.
Oh, it's on
Yeah,
Prime. I think it might be Prime exclusive. He's in it of enough, I guess. But
yeah.
the title, awesome.
It
Because
looks amazing.
yeah, I wish it was just better, but it has those two factors: Nick Cage and the title. So it's like, but I think he's gonna stop making those. Nick
Yeah,
Cage now. That's my guess. Because now he's back. He'll be back in the theater a couple times. It's like I'm not making these anymore. I'm,
yeah. I mean, the difference between him and Willis is that when
yeah,
he makes these movies, like these low budgeters, he like just goes crazy in them. Like
yeah,
he's just, I mean, which
he
again might
goes
have to do with
for it.
the health, factor as well. But like he doesn't mail in these things. He just like he's Nicolas Cage on 10 for a lot
Yeah,
of them.
that's what makes it fun. Because I think, oh, what's it called? A Score to Settle.
Yeah,
I know that's almost like a Bruce Willis title. It's like, but he's like yelling at like Benjamin Bratt or something. It was really funny. It was
yeah.
like,
Well, I
but
know I had Mitch on. We talked about Pig in a previous
did
episode.
you like Pig?
I I I did, and I liked it, but
I didn't because it's there's nothing there to hang your hat on. He has looking for a truffle pig. It's like,
when
you
they
know,
killed the pig off, which
yeah,
hopefully you already know
spoiler.
about. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry, we didn't mention it. Spoiler alert for Pig. So
yeah.
sorry about that.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that was something I had a lot of trouble with, and I kind of understood like there was reasons why they did it, and I guess it's like based off of a Greek myth or something like that. But I think at least Will Nicolas Cage, like he's like in the movie, like he's
that's a good point. He's there. He's always present. You
yeah.
know.
I think that's a big difference between him and Willis in these movies. And they're almost a close comp too. I mean, I think Willis was more successful overall in his career, but they're close comps in terms of like the range that they could do, the types of roles. I mean, Nicolas Cage, I think, did a little bit more offbeat kind of stuff, but also Willis did a lot of indie flicks too, like 12 Monkeys, Fifth Element, things like that. So it's interesting to think about how like they both have kind of moved into this DTV world where like Cage is like, I'm just going to do all these crazy characters that I could never do when I was trying to make enough
Yeah,
money to buy an island or a fossil
he buys
dinosaur or
him so
something.
yeah, buys a bunch of dinosaur fossils.
Yeah,
It's like, well, you got to make Rage now.
right.
It's like, it's like, okay, you want to buy some fossils? You got to make all these movies. Like, oh, all right, and oh wait, I have tax problem too. It's like, because I bet you can see like he probably looked at his like his itemized list. Nicolas Cage is like, okay, I have to make 15 of these to get the fossil. All right, here I go. It's like,
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, what movies do you have that have man or men in the title that you need me
yeah,
to do? So, okay,
yeah,
you got Family Man,
yeah.
Weatherman, yeah, that's probably why he did Wicker Man, because he was
Well,
like,
yeah, it's the Man trilogy.
yeah, exactly, yeah, Matchstick Men. He's
Yeah,
just
Matt's
like,
there. Yeah,
yeah, he's just,
uh,
and they were all like, I mean, I remember watching Family Man with this girl that I was dating back, like way,
mm,
way back, like in that, like, and she thought it was this great movie, and I was like, this is horrible. Like, I don't know what I'm doing here watching this. Like, it's like, the whole thing about him like being a jerk, and then he's like,
well, it's just another Christmas, kind of
right,
thing. It's like,
yeah,
uh,
like, what's happening here? And
like,
oh, go
yeah, go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I was saying like with the DTV stuff, at least he's not doing that kind of thing anymore.
That's true. Yeah, well, he did the movie called The Runner, which is kind of boring. I mean, he had to
Yeah,
make a couple boring ones. It's
yeah.
like, not that all over. I'm not saying every single Nick Cage straight to video movie is good, and then
No,
I'm
oh
not
no, no,
saying that.
yeah, no, no.
I just maybe love the idea of the title of Kill Chain. So,
Yeah,
but I guess and now we're Nicolas Cage and Bruce Willis, they could have made a movie together. You can almost see that.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. They would have been,
Yeah.
that's interesting to think about. I'm
Yeah.
wondering if they, I don't know if they ever did do one, did they?
No, that's a lost opportunity there.
Yeah,
But see now John Travolta and Bruce Willis are making. Oh, they already made it. Paradise City. You see the
yes,
trailer for that?
yes,
I
that's gonna
mean,
be a good
looks.
one.
Yeah, it's gonna be perfect for Hulu. Maybe we could do that one when that comes to Hulu because
Yeah,
John Travolta looked like it's fun. He looked like he's having fun in it. So it's
so
like,
I guess technically, um, Nicolas Cage and Bruce Willis were in the Grindhouse movie together,
yeah, I guess
but they
that
didn't act
counts.
together, right?
Yeah,
They didn't.
I want to see him act together in
Yeah,
something.
Yeah.
Like that would be really great. It's just like
Yeah, I'm trying to think who else we'd want in that kind of movie, because like what would be hilarious is if it's
Mhm.
like the classic like paradigm of like Bruce Willis as like whatever he is, the rich guy, the police chief or whatever, and then the young guy doing the heavy lifting, but Nicolas Cage is the young guy doing the heavy lifting. So maybe he's got like the beard and he's
yeah.
grimacing, but he's doing all the Nicolas Cage stuff.
If maybe he's doing that really funny walk he does in Firebirds. I don't know if you've ever seen that clip. Just get ready to laugh. Just like it was like a Monty Python routine he was doing. It's just like
This
with the
miniature
silly
suit.
legs or whatever. So, I can see this. Hey, Dylan would be at Redbox. And of course, Bruce Willis would wear the badge.
Yeah.
They can call it like American badge or something like that. Like
Yeah, or do you put like
on the
two of their
loose.
titles together, right? Like so maybe
Oh,
like Daikon or
yeah, Daikon. Oh,
Con
yeah,
Hard or something.
yeah. I would watch that, and it would be like a Die Hard and a Comic Con,
Yeah.
and then Nicolas Cage can have a bunch of costumes on and be kind of funny.
Oh,
It's
that
like,
would be
yeah,
amazing, right? Because you need the
yeah,
TNA aspect to these movies. I think like Randall
yeah,
Emmett doesn't want to make it without a lot of like, hot women in it. So
yeah,
if you do them all in like cute like cosplay outfits
yep,
with the hostage situation, because oh, I didn't even think of it, right?
yeah,
You can hide the weapons in the cosplay outfits, right? So like
yes, yeah.
and like the baddie, maybe the baddie is played by like a Devon Sawa or Robert Nepper would be so
That'd be
great as the
great. And
baddie.
then Bruce Willis would be the Reginald Vell Johnson part, of course.
Yes.
Police Chief Alston Jr.
Right, got
But
to
it's
do a
just like,
drive-by. Right, we see if a
yeah,
black and white can do a drive-by. He's the black and
yeah,
white doing the drive-by now.
yeah,
Yeah, and then and like Robert Nepper, could you see him like in like the Superman outfit, or something like ripping it off and like,
yeah,
I got to get this crap off of me, like just like
yeah.
angrily
Like
like
wow,
tearing it off, like
these nerds. And
yes,
it's like,
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
well, you can if you can't get Nepper, you can get Timothy V. Murphy. So it's just
yes, yeah.
like,
I feel like Nepper, if we, like if he got to be like that baddie who chewed scenery the way like like a Rickman or
maybe Gary Oldman kind of
Gary
type.
Oldman,
Yeah,
Plumber
yeah,
and Cracker Jack. Like
yeah.
if he could be that kind of baddie, I think he'd be all for it. And
It's close in Transporter 3 if you've seen that. It's
yes, oh
Statham
yes,
and Nepper, and it's like okay, this is good. This is good.
yeah, that
So,
was a good one. And
yeah,
he like I'm like he was one of the bright spots in Hard Target 2, I think. I mean, there's some good action in that. And he's just like a long movie. It takes a while,
it
and
takes a little while to get moving.
yeah, yeah,
So,
but Nepper, I mean, who would I mean, if Robert Nepper came up to me and said, "Hey, I'll give you $1 million for whatever it is," I'd be like, "Get away from me, Robert Nepper. I don't trust you. There's no way
I
you could have
know,
good intentions
and he
at
has
all."
blonde hair in it too. So he has blonde hair. He has the evil face and voice. It's like he's like the younger Lance Henriksen in a way.
Right, right,
So
exactly. You don't trust these guys. Lance Hendrickson's another one. I wouldn't trust him if he came
no,
up to me and was asking me to do anything. It's like, no, I'm just gonna get stuck in some kind of horrible film noirish thing or some horrible action thing where I'm running for my life. Like, no, just get away from me. I'm happy with that. Yes, I could use $2 million. Who couldn't use $2 million? But it's not worth it for what you're gonna be doing to me.
well, soon maybe then Johnny Drama also will be a villain in the next one. But we should probably
Yeah,
wrap up. I
yeah,
assume because
yeah.
let's talk about Johnny Drama all day as
Yeah,
we.
or we could write this script of this movie
Yeah, we
of
could sell it
Con
to Denver.
what
Oh,
what was
Daikon.
Daikon. Yeah, Daikon. I think is
Yeah.
just that is like the best. Yeah, we need to hopefully we didn't insult Randall Emmett by talking about his potential.
Sorry, dude.
We'll sell this script idea to him. Like,
Yeah. No, we
listen,
were making
Randall.
fun of him. He just said, "I don't
No,
want him to be in jail." How about
we don't.
that? No one's ever said that. It's
Yeah,
like,
we don't want you to be in jail, Randall, because we
no.
want you to be able to make this Daikon
Yeah,
movie.
Daikon movie with
We'll be
Bruce Willis
sending you
and
the
them.
script next,
Yeah,
in the next couple weeks.
it'll be quick. It's a quick one to think of.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sure there's got to be a hotel convention somewhere that's going to let you just rent it out
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
I can
for the
see that. And anyone who has to wear a costume would probably be fun to cast. This is a
yeah.
movie.
Yeah, well,
So,
think of the extras. You could get so
oh
many
yeah, perfect.
extras, just like it's funny because some of those movies, some of these as we're wrapping up here, I'll kind of
Yeah,
one last kind of quick note, but if you
sure.
ever look at the images for some of these movies, they show a bunch of extras in scenes that never make it in the film. And I think there's one that was Acts of Violence where it was like about like human trafficking. and it
Mhm.
showed all these extras that were like supposed to be like trafficked, where they were just like tied up or whatever, that they didn't even use it. And it's like, man, like that's got to be like the worst if you're like gonna get put through something horrible, like whatever it is that to be an extra, and they don't even use the scene. But it's like people like it must be so easy to get extras for things that like they have so many they don't even use them all for things.
Yeah, I never really thought about that. Yeah, so that's you just wait there all day because that's what you do on a movie set,
Right?
and then you
Yeah.
don't even use you.
Right.
Like you're an extra.
Right.
You're not even like
Exactly.
Willis,
Right.
and
Right.
just like
Yeah,
eh,
and the odds that you're even going to see Willis, you might be able to see Willis from like, I mean, that what it is? Like you're hoping to get a glimpse of Willis, and so maybe you
yeah,
see him like way off on the edge there, and he's just like, there for 2 seconds, and then you get to see his double come in, and you see the cameraman making sure he's filming from the from the chest
yeah,
down.
yeah, you got yeah. I want to see that. I want to see. That's a great. I really want to see that behind the scenes, like by accident, like oh, we just showed the wrong Willis. It's like
Exactly. Perfect. Well,
or the
well,
wrong
maybe,
Seagal. Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. I've seen some with the wrongs and gall. I think there was that China Strike Force one where I think that's what it was called.
China Salesman.
China Salesman. What is China Strike For? That's the one with
That's a
Coolio.
movie with Mark Dacascos and Coolio.
Yeah, that's actually a fun movie.
Yeah,
With Coolio, who unfortunately left us recently. So
yeah.
yeah,
He was good in that. Coolio is Coolio.
yeah. But China Salesman, there's a scene where Mike Tyson is fighting Seagal and he decks him, and it's
Mhm.
so obviously a stunt double who gets
All right,
punched.
I can't wait to see that. I have a copy. Just I'm kind of sitting on it. Is
It's a
this the?
rough one. It's a
Oh, okay.
slog. It's a longer movie. It's a slog. It's kind of a Chinese propaganda movie.
Okay.
So it's got like the Chinese government's
What's
kind of
this?
propagandizing like kind of like their attempt to sort of sell technology and contracts to Africa versus like Western countries, which it's not horrible in the sense of propaganda because it's like it's one of those things where some of it's true, some of it is propaganda, but because it's there for the propaganda part, it gets in the way a little bit, unfortunately. Um, because it's not like a fun like Seagal Tyson
It's
actioner. It's
unfortunate.
really more
Yeah,
about
like
this young guy who's there trying to sell like 5G tech or 4G. Maybe it's 4G at that time.
oh, it's
4,
4G.
I
So
think it's maybe
it's one
4G
of
before
those.
5G.
Okay, it's
Yeah,
kind of like maybe like Airstrike with Willis. Just end at a Willis.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, same idea. So
Yeah.
I think the novelty is there. I mean, again, I think. For someone like yourself who's seen a lot of Seagal movies, I think you need to see it for the Seagal factor, just to say like I've
Okay.
seen
I've
that
seen.
Seagal movie.
There was the other one called Clementine, but I guess we should talk about that another day.
Yeah, that's one
Where,
that I
yeah.
think Simon from Explosive Action owns Clementine, but
Oh, okay.
I've never seen it. I think
Never
the only
saw it.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's only a Korean language version on YouTube. So
Oh, all right. Well,
yeah,
one of these days, I'm
yeah,
getting close to the 20-year mark. I'll try to get to it. It's just like,
yeah, exactly. Perfect. Well, yeah. So I guess as we're wrapping up, Ty, anything that you wanted to plug?
no, I guess I could just plug the site. Comeuppinterviews.net is the website, and the podcast, which will be on soon. Talk about maybe Madsen. So we'll have to work on that. I think you might know what number one might be. So it's
Yes, yes.
but thanks for having me on. I know kind of not kind of glommed on. It's like, wait, it's a good idea. Let me try to pop on quick.
No, I think this is
Yeah, I know. I'm just
perfect.
kidding.
I think it's a
Yeah,
perfect idea of this kind of thing
yeah,
where it's like I do it as a solo thing just because I just needed something quick and dirty for a
right.
solo episode. But then
Yeah.
you're like, hey, I'd be
I
interested.
Well,
And
I was happy that you were on board. So, because it's like we got to watch these. So it's like
yeah,
it worked
no,
out very
no,
well.
absolutely, yeah. And I wanted to quick mention too on your Instagram.
Oh yeah, with Toy Auction Rocks. I got to do the promotions, right?
Yeah, I think you've got two great
Oh,
like your last
which one?
two
Oh,
posts.
Steele's Law, right? It's Steele's Law and Distant Justice.
Yes, I mean, distant. I have not really gotten into the George Kennedy DTV world so much. That one looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's not. He's not. He's barely in it. It's
Yeah.
almost. He's like the. I don't know why. I forget his character, but it's mostly about this Asian guy named Bunta Sagawara. I think I'm saying that right. And then David Carradine and George Kennedy are hanging around, but
Yeah. Okay.
uh, it's one of those. But they have this huge Kennedy face. It's like,
Exactly.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like you
And
gotta
then
love it.
Steele's Law. That's one I've really got to see.
Oh, that's a good
Williamson.
Fred. That's a good one because it's like it's
Yeah.
classic Fred with the ending you have to love.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah. I was gonna say like like 'cause you posted some great ones lately. I mean,
oh thanks.
what was why am I not thinking of the title of the Anna Nicole Smith one?
Oh, to the limit.
To the Limit.
Yeah.
Yeah. which was it was it was kind of funny seeing the comments in there because people were like, "Hey, did you know this was a sequel?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, it's
I did, yeah. It's Da
yeah,
Vinci's War too, you know.
right. It's a
Like
weird sequel, right? Because it's almost like they needed to make a second movie with Anna Nicole Smith, and they were like, well, hey,
Da Vinci's
Joey,
War script's hanging around still.
yeah,
It's like
Joey
it's
Travolta,
like
do you want to make your sequel here with us?
oh
And
geez.
you
Or
know,
he doesn't say that, but you know, the oh
yeah,
geez. But now Travolta is doing these straight to vids now. Again, now he was on break for a little bit.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I want to see that Willis thing too. So I know I already mentioned it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's gonna
Yeah, I think we could definitely, if we do another one of these Willis jobs here, I think that might be one that, like, once it's available,
yeah, once it's available for free. You
yeah, I
know.
think, so I
Sorry
think
for being a
Travolta,
cheapo, but you know,
yeah,
best to watch it for free. You know.
I
I
mean,
wanna
considering the material we got out of Johnny Drama,
yes, that was
I mean,
perfect.
having John Travolta, that's going to be just
Oh,
so
that's a
much
good
more
read.
material.
Oh, I saw the trailer. It's like, okay, this looks like a good one. So,
Yeah, so yeah, I
but
think
yeah, but
with
thanks.
yeah, I was gonna say with the volume of Willis out there, I think we could
Yep.
definitely come back and do another one of these for
Oh,
sure.
can't wait to do that. If we can just get it all together again. Like if it's not all on AMC Plus, go all to Hulu or
Yeah,
Netflix, all these other ones.
yeah, Tubi,
So
all those. There's
yeah,
plenty
we
out
have
there. So
corrective measures. We can maybe hang on to that one to get another one.
yeah, Rooker, I
Yeah.
think could be some
Yeah.
definitely something that Rooker's a guy
Yeah.
that he's always kind of just been around, and he kind of goes up and down, right? Like sometimes he's
Yeah.
in big screen stuff, sometimes he's doing this kind of stuff, and
Yep. He's been in that forever. So it's like
yeah, I mean he was on Walking Dead. He was in the early seasons of Walking Dead, which I only saw the early seasons, so that's how I know him.
same. I only
Yeah,
seen 2 seasons. I jumped ship. I was like, I don't care
yeah,
anymore.
yeah. I think
Like,
I jumped after the second season too. I don't know what happened there, but
like, I think we were stuck on a farm. It was boring. That's
yeah,
all I remember. It's like, I'm gonna cut it. So see
these
ya.
shows are interesting, right? Like very few. I think that's kind of one of the things about like you watching Blue Bloods and shows like that is that they're formulaic, but they have a way of sort of like episode to episode, like just like doing something in the episode that's worth
Yes,
watching.
and this one was pretty weak of Blue Bloods,
Yeah,
but Tom Selleck is he's like he doesn't want to go to his other police commissioner's funeral
oh,
because the other police commissioner maybe was corrupt.
right,
And
Dirty Boss.
spoiler, he wasn't corrupt. So it's just
Okay,
like
all right.
because that's what happens. It's like he always agonizes over every episode about something that it's easily fixable. So it's just like and it's like, ugh, this is his subplot today.
Yes.
It's like,
And he
uh,
sits behind the desk a lot when he's agonizing. And like somebody will come
yes,
in and he'll like like Bridget Moynihan or somebody will come into the office and he'll talk about how he's agonizing about it.
it's always agonizing. And some of the dialogue in the dinner scene this episode is pretty brutal. And it's like, okay, I almost muted it. It was so annoying. It was like,
Yeah. So maybe it's sort of hit the tipping point on that
yeah,
series.
it's 13 seasons already. So,
Yeah,
but I
that's a
know,
good point. Yeah, it's amazing, but I think there is something about like I think with Walking Dead, their mindset is what we're going to be doing like almost like a 13-hour movie. So it's like if this one episode doesn't have a lot happening in it, the next episode will. So people will watch that one, and we'll have the cliffhanger for the
well,
next episode and all
the
that.
thing I'll mention lastly is that Blue Bloods is a 13-year movie. So it's just
Yeah,
like, it's like a long time.
that's a good point. Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of when you get into these shows that get up into these levels of seasons, it's amazing because when you think of like a Miami Vice only lasted five, or some of those shows that we think of as like really big, didn't really last as long. But then a show like Alice, like Mel's Diner was like, how did they? I think they got like 9 or 10 seasons out of that. And it's like, how many seasons of this like going to the diner with Mel and Alice and stuff to
Well,
make
it's all we had. And then they
right.
have two broke girls, which sometimes I catch on cable. It's like, okay, then I just change it quickly. But
Right, exactly.
it's like they're in a diner all the time, I
Right.
assume. That's
That's a good
it's like,
point.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I had like 15 seasons. I don't know how many seasons Two Broke Girls had, but I think
Yeah.
I saw like half an episode once, and like maybe it was the first season. But they always show how much money they don't have at the end of
Mhm.
the scene. It's like, nope,
Right.
I lost $50. Ding. And it's like, okay, I see what you're doing there.
Right.
It's like, I know
Yeah.
it's a comedy show, obviously, but
Yeah. But it's still it's
it's
I
still
mean
kind of a goofy thing to do. And We can talk about it all day. We can talk about that or how about anger management with Charlie Sheen. But it was okay. That maybe we're running out of ideas here. But
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly. Well, no, but yeah, this was a lot of fun. Like I said,
yeah,
we
thanks.
you know,
Thanks for
I mean,
having me on.
obviously, we'll probably be doing more of the list episodes with Brett,
Yeah.
and those are always great too. I think they're kind of a different thing, right? Where you kind of get almost like a sampling of an actor and like a good sense of like what if people want to get more into that
Yeah.
star.
Madsen will be interesting.
Yeah,
I think Jeff Fahey's a tough one. But I think
yeah,
Madsen's a tough one too, but he definitely has enough material.
yeah.
Maybe even for two-parter.
I think for the Madsons, mostly just the accent was like,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I gotta take some lozenges for that. Yeah, it's like,
exactly. Yeah, we lost to the tea to get
yeah.
through the Madsen for sure. All right,
Well,
perfect. Well,
thanks again for having me on. It was a
yeah,
lot of fun.
yeah. Thanks again for coming on. This was a great time, and thanks
Oh,
everybody
thanks.
for listening. And we'll
Yep.
talk soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Direct to video, direct